We didn't see Keelan Robinson or Jonathan Brooks, so I feel
Yeah,
like
that's what I thought about Brooks. I didn't see that much. I didn't even know if he got in the game.
I feel like one of these guys probably won't be here by the beginning of the season, would be my guess,
Well, when you have 5 or 6 guys,
that are expecting
sure.
at least 10 carries a game. That's probably not going to happen.
Who are you predicting will not be here?
I don't know which guy, but you have Cedric Baxter, you have Jonathan Brooks, you have Blue, you have Robinson, and you have Wisner coming in. He's probably redshirting, but there's a lot of carries to go around in that room. Or the ball can't just go to
and Savion Red too, and Savion Red might be because we were talking about it on the pregame show. Rod and Harge and I, Roschon Johnson was the thumper, right? Roschon Johnson would put his head in your face mask and get his ability to break tackles and be a power back
pass protector.
Yeah, who's going to be that guy? And that's the one thing that doesn't feel like they have is who's the thumper? Who's the guy that
I think of Brooks as a thumper to me with speed. I think he's got a little bit of everything. I think he can, if he's healthy, he can carry a bunch of carries. I think he can, and with power and speed.
Jaden Blue showed you the
he's
flash.
Got the quickness and the
he's
flash.
More of a perimeter player, Jaden Blue. But we saw his touchdown run was impressive.
Yeah, he's the Y banana guy. Slip it out there, get the ball in his hands in a hurry.
Well, and Sark, we just heard Coach Sark talking about explosive players who can make plays. Keelan Robinson, he's an explosive play waiting to happen when he's on the field, and he didn't participate in this spring either. So, yeah, a lot to like. We'll certainly take your thoughts. Well, here's Sark coming up on the defensive side of the ball. Is the pass rush improved in his mind? Because, of course, the biggest areas of improvement in Sark's mind before camp were, passing game improvement, being more in sync, and I think they showed that certainly with the top 2 quarterbacks in Quinn Ewers and Malik Murphy, and then pass rush improvement. We'll hear from Sark on that coming up on the other side. We'll also get to some hot or not before the end of the hour. We're taking your good, your bad, and your ugly from the busy weekend. A lot going on all over the 40 acres, all over the great state, and certainly all over the world in sports. We'll dive into all of it as much as we can for sure here on B&E.
Folks, after 22 years, Straight Music is moving from Ben White location at South Lamar to a new world-class location just a few miles down the hill from where they are now. And rather than just, have bargain basement sales once they get there, they're having a moving sale. That means brand, gear, and rock-bottom prices at about 70%, 75% off of a lot of things like guitars, pianos, keyboards, pro audio, band, orchestra, and even more. Now, I got my grandkids a couple guitars from Straight Music, and you can go there too. I was going to get that drum set, but my daughter said, not so fast, Pops. You'll be playing that at your house. But they are moving, and what they're trying to do right now, they're having a sale for this whole month. But in the month of May, they'll be moving to their new location. And they said just very, very close. After 22 years, as long as the Mullet Open has been going on, I've been a part of going over to Straight Music for sure, and I know you have too. So their new location is going to be historic. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. If you want to find out more details on incredible sales just at the South Store on South Lamar, you can by going to straightmusic.com.
It's Bucky and Erin.
If you go to the Texas Longhorns Twitter account, you can see the renderings of the new football practice facility that is in the works.
It's a beauty.
Yeah, state-of-the-art football training facility. The bubble will be no longer, and looks like the School of Social Work will be no longer either, which is right there between the Jamel Swim Center and the Gregory Gym. That's where they're going to build the new practice facility right outside the south side of the stadium, and pretty sharp looking. And we're talking about the Longhorn spring game itself. Were they sharp looking or not? Also, the other good, bad, and the ugly from the busy weekend. Buck was watching golf heavily yesterday. Jordan Spieth nearly went back-to-back at the RBC Heritage, but Matthew Fitzpatrick beat him in the third playoff hole. Also, I owe Ty a case of beer because of the Rangers. Is it a case of beer? Did I say case or a 12-pack?
I think it's a 12-pack of subpar.
Schaefer Light.
Subpar Pabst.
Because you brought up something called Schaefer beer
Schaefer.
on Friday. I was like, what is that? Is that even a thing? So now I got to try to track that down.
Just give me some Yinglangs.
Or I could get you some Bud Light or something along those lines.
True.
Come on, man. We'll get you what you need. But, yeah, Rangers took 2 out of 3 from the Astros. So that'll be an ongoing bet this year because when the Astros play the Rangers, Ty and I will go head-to-head.
We can just roll it over.
It's rollover, yeah, till it gets to a case.
Yeah, let's just roll it over.
Yeah,
let's keep that rolling. We'll go a season-long bet.
There you go.
And make it more than that. That'll be fun. But, yes. So looking forward to future series with the Rangers and the Astros.
Did you think Anthony Hill moved around pretty well?
Yeah, I did.
He's
He's a quick twitch player, man.
Yeah,
and he looks the part. I mean,
he's real fluid the way he just maneuvers around. You know, once he gets to using his hands and learn some of that linebacker tricks, I don't know what those linebacker tricks are. I just like to go punch them in the head if I'm a running back.
Well, I look at
get a shot on them when they're not looking.
It's amazing to me watching that game that the idea of these early enrollees, right? These are all guys who should be seniors in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony Hill looked the part.
He did.
Without Malik Muhammad at corner, who's a true freshman out of what is it, South Oak Cliff in Dallas?
Yeah.
I mean, golly, Alabama was recruiting him, A&M, Texas gets him, and he looked the part. I mean, there's gonna be depth at that position too.
Yeah, I like the Brooks kid a lot, man. From that bowl
Brooks?
game, he looks really good.
Yeah, I mean, Rod and I were talking about him on Saturday. Rod, of course, from DBU, and
God, he even looks bigger than he did last year.
Well, remember, Terrence Brooks and Ryan Watts are both from Little Elm. And Ryan had transferred in from Ohio State, and then Terrence Brooks had been committed to Ohio State, but then committed to Texas on signing day. And Rod was saying on Saturday at our pregame coverage of the spring game that I think his dad was like a footwork coach, like a footwork like cornerback DB footwork coach, and those are both very polished players. And you add Gavin Holmes at corner, coming in from Wake Forest, who's an experienced player. They've got depth on that at that position, and they also have depth up front. Let's hear Sark talking about the pass rush because we'll hear Sark on Quinn Ewers here coming up. But Coach Sark was asked, do you think the pass rush was better, not just on Saturday, but really through the course of the spring? Longhorns were second in the nation in pressure rate, but they were 70th in sacks. So how do you convert pressures into sacks? Became a big impetus and big focus. Here was Sark after the spring game on the improved group up front.
The pass rush. Yeah, I did. Again, it's hard when you have to split those guys up because I think we have some good packages now where we can get people on the field in certain combinations and they can be very disruptive. And you can count on certain guys that are nowhere penetrator types that can affect the quarterback and other guys that can clean things up. I think our linebackers are good rushers as well. So all in all, I feel good about it. Is there potential we may add a guy here or there? We'll see. Nobody knows. The portal opened today, so I don't know what's going to happen. But the reality of it is the roster we have up there up front, I feel good about.
All right. So
they don't, and it's tough in a spring game because you don't know what's a sack or what's a bat down. The coaches don't want your helmet near the quarterback's hand. So when you start coming at him, and some of those balls that guys are completing would get batted down or knocked around, or the quarterback would be off balance. No coach wants somebody to bat down a ball and they go hand to hand with the quarterback. The coaches much rather you just go ahead and duck your head and get away from them than to say I batted it down. Let the coaches figure out in the film if that ball is going to get knocked down. So it's hard on the defensive lineman because you keep saying, is that a pressure or not a pressure? Looks like the quarterback got the ball off. Well, the guy's right in his face, but he ducks his head. He doesn't really hit the quarterback because that's not what you want. Because when that quarterback's laying on the ground and the hero on the other side is going, I batted the ball down, but the quarterback has broken fingers. Now everybody's pissed.
Yeah, that's the one group where you're not really going to know who the finisher is.
No,
till week one.
I agree. I just think that's really tough in spring games. It's tough in spring practice
And Sark
because nobody wants their quarterback hit even in practice.
Yeah, because you're going nowhere near the quarterback.
No, don't go near my quarterback.
Don't even fall into him.
That's right.
And at the same time, as Sark said, you're splitting the players up, right? So it's not Byron Murphy next to Alfred Collins, and then the full D line. They were on different teams, so you're splitting the team. Get them all together, and we'll see. But I took note of his final comment there that it's because we've heard a lot of reports the Longhorns are looking in the portal for edge players, and Sark just alluded to it.
Yeah, they can use another rusher.
Oh yeah, I think
always,
and I think they'll be in the market here as the portal did open on Saturday.
How about Ethan Burke though?
I know. Well, he could look. I don't know if Ethan Burke's a guy who's on the field on first and second down, but certainly as a third down player to finish things. And you know, we've heard during the camp the Longhorns experimented with putting 4 defensive tackles on the line at one time, like a heavy package, where they had Murphy and Collins and Broughton and Tavondre Sweat all on the field at the same time, because you can slide Alfred Collins out to the edge and he's big and long. I mean, but that's in a run base. But then you could bring a, what do they call it? A jet package in there where you are bringing your pass
guys,
rushers in an obvious passing situation. And Byron Murphy, I think, would probably stay on the line, but that's what depth provides, is the ability to use different guys in different ways. But they need a finisher. They need more than one finisher, because Jamon Tapp and Justice Finkley and
is Sorrell the guy?
Yeah, Barron Sorrells is the guy on the one side, and he was your best pass rusher last year from the edge. They need to add to that on the other side, the counterpart to that. Other conversations with Steve Sarkisian after the orange-white scrimmage on Saturday. Quinn Ewers' development. We heard him talk about Malik Murphy, but Quinn Ewers, ran the white team. They put 3 touchdowns on the board in the first half, and Quinn didn't play a lot in the second half. He threw for 195 yards. He led touchdown drives 3 times, 2 rushing touchdowns and the throwing touchdown right before the half to A.D. Mitchell. Here's Sark on not just Quinn's performance Saturday, but what he has seen really since January began with his starting quarterback.
I thought we saw some positive things today. Obviously the deep ball to Xavier from Quinn, the deep ball from Malik to Jonte. There was another deep ball. I thought Malik threw a beautiful pass to DeAndre Moore. So those things were really positives. And then, there was arguably a PI or not on another deep ball to Xavier, which sometimes that's the byproduct of taking your shots. I think, like as in coaching, the old adage is you get what you emphasize, and we've been emphasizing that, and I think we're seeing some positive results. So that's a great thing, because our offense is better when we can stretch the field.
That's Sark on the deep ball improvement, and we did see that. They did push the ball down the field. That's going to be part of what they do. Now on Quinn Ewers in particular, his evolution, I guess we would put it. The hair is cut. He looks like he's hit the weight room, and he's eating better. Here's Sark on the improvement of his starting quarterback.
And give them things that, what are their strengths that we see? What are maybe some of the weaknesses that they have? And then what do they need to work on to improve on those weaknesses? And some of those things are on the field things. Some of those things are in the weight room. Some of those things are in the classroom, so on and so forth. And so when it was Quinn, and we had the meeting and we had the dialogue and everybody got on the same page with, okay, what is the next steps going to look like for you? I think he dove right into it, and it started in January. I think that he really, devoted himself to the weight room. Obviously, his diet, his nutrition, his just overall understanding of the offense. And I think it shows. He looked very comfortable today. And, and that's not having a real game plan going into the game. You're just kind of running plays in a spring game. So the fact that I think he's going to be even more dialed in when we actually game plan and what we're trying to attack to get after people, I think that he's going to be a more confident player, and one that I think is going to instill belief in his teammates and coaches and our entire organization that, hey, that's our guy, and he's going to make the plays when his number's called.
Yeah, I thought he was a confident quarterback on Saturday. It looked totally different. There'll be some stuff that's kind of rough around the edges still, and that's an everyday thing with him. But coming in and out of the huddle, talking with his teammates, talking with wide receivers, helping out some young running backs that got in there for the first time. He looked more of a leader as a quarterback on Saturday. and that's just experience, and that's what you've got with him. I mean, if they had a game plan and breaking down what their own defense did, he would probably have more success than he did on Saturday for sure.
Well, and that's, again, Quinn came in last year in January from Ohio State. And, as a freshman trying to learn, compete with Hudson Card for the starting quarterback job, which it's hard to be a leader when you're not even named the starting quarterback. And clearly last year at this time, Roshan Johnson and Bijan Robinson and those guys were the leaders of this football team, right? They were the guys that had established the leadership roles, and they took them. And, well, now those guys are gone. And, Keandre Coburn and Moro Ojimo and these guys we talk about, Marvion Overshown, they were the leaders of the team. Well, they're gone. And there's an opportunity. There's a void of it. And, it sounds like, and as you just noticed, Quinn Ewers can step into that leadership role because he is the established starting quarterback. He is the guy. Malik Murphy played great. And Sark said he wants Malik and Arch Manning to keep pushing. But, Quinn Ewers is our starter at this point. And he can go into the summer with that, right? And be the leader of the team. And that has to evolve. But I think we're starting to see that with Quinn Ewers. But even as you and Mark Henry said in our first hour, the footwork has to be an ongoing thing, right? He can't continue to throw a high ball.
I think we all now can see when his footwork is bad. I mean, you don't even have to know the game that much. When you see the stability of him, when he gets ready to make certain throws, when he's throwing outside hitch routes and he's just trying to use all arm.
Be Patrick Mahomes over there.
Yeah, they're not accurate. They're outside and wide and into the Gatorade thing. I mean, receivers want that ball on them. I mean, they don't want to, too much to the inside. Defenders are coming. But if you're going to throw it a little bit to the outside, it's got to be on the outside shoulder. It can't be down low, you know what I'm saying, or out and high. And that's what his footwork. I mean, he can step into those throws and make those, but he's still so dependent on his arm strength. That's what he's so used to doing and used to getting away with. That's an everyday thing that he has to get out of.
Well, and that's for sure, and that's got to be an ongoing process for him. But he's the likely starter. But the thing you saw Saturday was Malik Murphy flash as because that was a big question. Who's the backup? Look, the Longhorns once in the last 12 years have not needed their backup quarterback in a season for stretches. Once in 12, that was 2019 when Sam Ehlinger played every game.
I don't have any clue how Malik Murphy used to throw the ball, but whatever they did with his mechanics, that looks like the way you're supposed to throw a football.
Yeah.
And especially those long, those deep little in routes they were doing, those hitches.
Oh, yeah.
That ball got there in a hurry. As you're a defender, you stick your finger in there, you're liable to get your finger broken.
Yeah, that first throw in the first half where he put his foot in the ground
and just got it in that.
I mean, that's again, it's a spring game, but at the same time, you feel pretty confident that if you do need multiple quarterbacks this year, that Malik Murphy's going to be there because we hadn't seen him. We saw him coming out of high school, and this is the first chance to watch him, and he plays with a lot of confidence. He's got a big arm. He's a big dude.
And he works on his foot. You can tell he's working on his throws, on his footwork.
Yeah. 2019, the only time the Longhorns have not needed their backup quarterback. You're just going to need him. It's part of football.
Yes.
And, Arch Manning will continue to push too. Arch really looked like a freshman who's been through his first 15 practices in college football.
Got all summer. They got a lot of work to do.
We'll see what they look like come August. Of course, it's now, 138 days? 138 days until the start of the Longhorn football season, September 2nd with the Rice Owls. That's the next time we'll get to see the Longhorns. So we're talking about it. We're hearing from Sark, taking to you. The crowd was huge, and, man, what a turnout for the spring game. We'll take your thoughts on the good, the bad, and the ugly. Also, Ty will lead us through some hot or not topics before the top of the hour, things we've missed halfway through a Monday edition, getting your work week underway here on B&E.
What's hot and what's not.
Hot and not on this Monday morning. It was blazing hot on Saturday at the spring game if you were there. Record-setting temperatures, hottest day for April the 15th since 1924. Because when we reached 94 degrees, and it was warm in the building at DKR. Yesterday, 20 degrees cooler and just a spectacular Sunday. Also on the hot or not side, Buck, have you ever heard of this show on Netflix called Love is Blind?
Seen every episode.
You've seen every episode? I've not seen it.
I've not.
What is this show? My brother and sister-in-law watch it. I heard about that recently. What is this about?
So basically, it's a love experiment, like all these, stupid shows. They're all by the same people on Netflix, but it's so stupid that I love it because they get like 20 males, 20 females, and put them in pods where they're dating for like 2 weeks, or a month, but they don't see each other the entire time. So they're basically like
just talking,
speed dating, just talking behind a wall. So it's supposed to be like, and then at the end of it, you have like, if you like someone, you propose like to be married, and then you see each other for the first time. And then they have them move in for like a month.
Just meet women in a smoke-filled bar somewhere and marry them that way anymore.
Can't we just meet HEB Sackers or something?
Come on, man.
But I mean, this is the 4th season, and there's been a few couples that have actually like it's worked out.
Well, apparently last night,
mom and dad hookups with a neighbor down the road.
I guess last night they were having a big reunion show. On Netflix,
yeah, my girlfriend was very upset about this,
and it turned into a disaster for Netflix. Like there was technical issues, and they couldn't stream it, and fans were all mad. And it was not good. It was not good for Love is Blind, a show I have not seen. But this is good, Buck. There's an emerging favorite now. The NFL draft is a week from Thursday. Okay, 1 week from Thursday, it'll be the first round. Bijan Robinson is the story of this first round outside of all the quarterbacks. Right, where are the quarterbacks going to go? But beyond the second story is Bijan. Where's he going to go? Cowboys fans are clamoring. You've talked about the Eagles at 10. I know a lot of Washington Commanders fans think they're going to get Bijan in the middle of the first round. Well, there's the odds favorite now, Buck. The betting favorite in Vegas, the landing spot for Bijan Robinson a week from Thursday. Could you guess? It's the Atlanta Falcons with the 8th pick in the draft.
Man.
The Atlanta Falcons with the 8th pick in the draft. I saw Bijan at the spring game. He was there with Roshan. Got a huge ovation. And here's the reason. That Atlanta has committed a ton of money this offseason to the defense, right? They signed Jesse Bates, the safety from Cincinnati. They just signed Bud Dupree last week from Tennessee. Calais Campbell, Jeffrey Okudah, they traded for him from Detroit. Caden Ellis, a linebacker. David Onmanyata, they brought in as well on the defensive line. So they brought in 6 or 7 key players on the defensive side. They've committed to Desmond Ridder as their starting quarterback, the second-year man out of Cincinnati, who they took in the second round last year. The owner is, and the general manager said, no, he's our quarterback. We're not looking for a QB. We like Desmond Ridder. And the now conventional wisdom, even in Vegas, they're up to like plus 200. That Atlanta is going to take Bijan because they've invested so much through free agency and trades on defense that let's just take the best offensive player available. And remember, last year, nobody
We'll find our quarterback later.
Well, they believe in Desmond Ridder, at least. I mean, they're saying that, right? And they're not looking quarterback. And they're going to stick with
they got to give him a chance. They played him last year a little bit.
Well, and remember, last year, nobody ran the ball more than the Atlanta Falcons did. I mean, their new coach, of course, came in from Tennessee, where he had Derrick Henry, and was a running team. That's what he's trying to build in Atlanta. So what better than fix your defense, or at least try to fix your defense through free agency, and then add the best offensive player in the draft, which is Bijan Robinson. You liking that there, Ty? Is Bijan to the Falcons?
I mean, that would be systematically a great fit, I think. I mean, if you had him, Tyler Algier, who was a rookie last year, and then Cordell Patterson, who seems like he's still can rush the ball 15 times a game, even at an older age. I think that'd be awesome for him. But I don't like it as a Cowboys fan, but that's better than the Eagles. So
and keep in mind, they pick 8th overall in the first round.
Just keep him away from Philly.
So that's higher than people would have expected him to go.
But again, it makes sense. If people have him as a top 3 player on their board, then we said anything after about 8 and on is going to be, well, he's the best player on our board that hadn't been drafted yet. what are we doing? And if you're Atlanta and you want to be a running team, and remember Desmond Ridder played 4 years as a starter at Cincinnati. He was Conference Player of the Year twice. He led Cincinnati to the national championship tournament, right? The Final Four. He's a good player. Is he a great player? I don't know, but he's
just surround him by some great players.
Surround him with good players.
Yes.
And you'll fix your defense. And remember, again, that division is such a mess. No one knows what's going on in the AFC South with New Orleans and bringing in Derek Carr. Tom Brady's retired, so Tampa Bay's in rebuild mode. Saints look like the favorite. Carolina, they're what are they going to be? They have the number one pick and are likely to take Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud, most likely Young. So division's right there. Just a name, Bijan to Atlanta. Keep that in mind.
I mean, the Falcons could even trade back to a team like the Tennessee Titans, who are at 11. Because a report just came out that the Titans are interested in Anthony Richardson. If they feel like they need to move up a little bit and get a little extra compensation, and probably still get Bijan at 11.
Yeah, well, we'll follow that. It's a week from Thursday. It was good to see he and Roshan at the spring game on Saturday. Ty, what do you have for us in Hot or Not? Something we've missed halfway through this show.
I don't know if y'all watched the Clippers-Suns game last night. It was a great game. Clippers pulled it out in Phoenix, but Russell Westbrook went a cool 3 for 19 from the field. But he had a game-sealing block on Devin Booker, kind of made up for it in the end. But there was a video taken of him after the game where he went into one of the luxury suites at the Suns Arena and yelled at a fan that I guess was chirping at him. I don't know. Have you all seen that? Have you seen the video yet?
No,
what's happening?
we're wasting time.
Oh, Russell Westbrook?
Yeah, literally going into a suite.
What was that about?
I guess he gets his feelings hurt. I mean, he was playing. I bet on the Clippers last night, money line, and it felt like he was throwing away the game the entire time. He could not make a shot to save his life.
He played pretty good defense.
I mean, his intensity is always there. He got a few offensive rebounds. I mean, he almost had a triple
block
double.
shots.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, he sealed the deal with that block. But I mean,
he confronted a fan essentially who was sitting in one of the luxury boxes. That was weird.
But it wasn't like he went across, like he wasn't talking to him from like across a railing. He went into the suite.
Yeah, into the suite.
In his uniform and like was a foot away from this guy with a security guard in between them trying to like break up a fight.
Yeah. Well, he'll get suspended for that. I mean, he'll have to, right? I mean, the NBA can't put up with that.
Probably fine. I mean, it'd probably be good for the Clippers if they did suspend him for a game or two.
Well, it's one of those, as someone says on the text line, it's a pathway to the locker room. Like it's on the way. You know how you have those suites that are part of where the players come through.
Like the Cowboys.
The Cowboys have the bar, the bar area, right? The where fans are gathering as the players walk through. It's just part of the experience.
Head to the locker room.
But season ticket holders are there, so we'll see what comes of that. But yeah, 3 of the 4 road teams were winners yesterday, including the Clippers at Phoenix. We'll reset those scores coming up. NBA playoffs underway. 8 game ones of first-round series over the weekend. We'll get back into that. Plus the Texas spring game, more from Steve Sarkisian, orange-white scrimmage, the quarterback pecking order, and all the conversations that come from it, plus much, much more on A Good, Bad, and Ugly Monday morning on B&E. Viking Fence, the premier fence company in Austin, Texas, and they have been for 50 years. That's the facts. These aren't opinions. These are facts. Viking Fence has been doing it, trusted in Texas since 1972, and still locally owned and operated. And all they've done over the 5 decades is invest in building you a higher quality and better fence than anyone else. That's why they've invested in their own on-site lumber mill, where they mill the Western red cedar. They've discovered pretty quickly along the way that that's the best material for wood privacy fences for your home or business. Lasts the longest, looks the best. That's why they truck it in on the rail cars and mill it in their own mill to your exact specification and design standard. They'll also pre-stain it with their pre-staining equipment. I always tell you, if you want to build your own fence here this spring before it gets too hot, make sure you get your supplies from Viking Fence. You can get all of it right there, and it's going to be the highest quality guaranteed. Whether it's a wood privacy fence, any type of iron work that you need, gate or a handrail or an iron fence, Viking does it better than anyone as well. They have their own on-site custom iron facility as well. It's what it's all about. They want to control those raw materials so they can provide you a higher quality of material and fence and give you the best value as well of anybody in the industry, guaranteed. Viking Fence, 837-6411, the phone number, 837-6411. Find them online, that great website at vikingfence.com. And when you think fence of any kind in Austin, Texas, think Viking. Put them together for your Monday on B&E. You have till tomorrow, Buck, to get your taxes in. Tomorrow's the day, tax deadline day.
I dropped them off on Friday. I hope I signed everything.
Did you do that all right? Get it all done?
I got it all done.
Good for you. Good for you. Ties, you're in. You've already gotten your refund in the bank.
Thank you, Grandma Sue.
Your tax lady, your grandma. I love that. It's a great way to go. But, yeah, tomorrow is the deadline, so make sure you think of that as you get up and running on a Monday morning. Recapping the spring game. We'll hear more from Steve Sarkisian coming off of it. Obviously, a lot of quarterback conversation. Quinn Ewers led the white team to a victory. Malik Murphy showed a very high ceiling for a backup quarterback at this point. Arch Manning. We'll talk more about that here from Sark on the QBs and the offense in general. Also talking NBA playoffs. A little bit on the way to the timeout. We've got baseball on the brain, and just a really busy weekend and a great weekend. And you say you had a flat tire. What are you going to do about that today? You woke up to a flat tire in your garage?
Yeah, it must be a slow leak. I woke up, ready to go, and bang, I had to take old Doo-Doo Brown, go through the gate, open up the lower gate, drive it through, make sure the dog doesn't get out, do all those things. And you know me, I don't do tires. Somebody else.
Has that been like your whole life? You don't
my whole life.
Why?
My whole life. I had a girlfriend that.
No.
Did I not eat when I pulled over? And
you made your girlfriend change the tire?
Well, she knew how to change it.
I changed it once. I wasn't your girlfriend. We were driving to Dallas for Texas OU or something.
Do you know how to change it?
Yes.
It's
don't.
Not your thing?
No, that stuff is not no.
Okay.
Because you got to get messy and get on one knee, and then you have to bend over.
Your man card's in jeopardy.
And no, I don't change oil. I don't do tires.
We had a long debate. You couldn't change your own battery. I was like, dude, that is the easiest thing to do.
I don't do that. I don't play with batteries. Man. I don't play with cars. I don't do mechanical things. That's somebody else's job. Why am I taking somebody else's job? It's silly.
But it's so easy to do.
It doesn't. No, it's not that easy.
Who mows your lawn? Who?
SLP.
Oh, student loan payment lawn care?
Yeah, guys live in their basement, their mom's basement.
Yeah, but you got general
I've done mowing. I mean,
I think I've taught my own daughter how to change the tire, and my son's.
And that's what this girl taught me. She goes, "My dad taught me how to do that."
Right.
Well, my old man never told me how to do that stuff. He never taught me that kind of stuff.
Well,
never had a car.
You've been an adult for a long time.
Oh,
my
man.
dad never taught me that. You just kind of figured it out yourself.
Just jump right at it.
Yeah.
Not too late.
Just make sure you put the car and put the emergency brake up.
Yeah.
It's the one lesson I did learn.
Oh, you did? You had to learn that lesson?
I had a car.
And you're in a good spot. It's in
rolled at you?
Oh, close.
And you're in a garage, so it's like it's on a flat spot, so you're good there. Just pop that thing up, and it'll take you about 10 minutes.
No, I didn't expect you to change it this morning.
No, that's fine. You have another car. You drove the big brown truck.
Yes.
But yeah, when you get home, just knock that thing out. Take you a minute.
I have someone who's coming to do these things. You know,
wipe your rear end too for you.
No,
Come on,
I wipe
man.
my own rear end. I'm good at that. I'm good. I'm good with that. There's certain things I just don't. I don't do those things. That's okay. I'm not stealing somebody else's job. Somebody has that do that stuff for a living. Why should I steal their job? Right?
Well,
everybody helps everybody else. I don't do plumbing. I don't do.
Well, that's different than changing a tire. Plumbing, electrical work in your house.
Yeah, I don't do electrical work.
I get
yeah.
you.
I do change bulbs when necessary. Not a problem.
Oh man, okay.
I can switch the alarm and for the fire alarm and things like that when they go off. I know how to put those kind of things in.
So you're going to pay someone to come change your tire?
Yes, there's a young man who does some work at my house that will come over, and he's going to put all that stuff together. And he may even have a pump. It must have been a slow leak, so just pump that baby up, and I can get to.
You don't have a compressor in your garage?
You know what I had? I begged my wife. I begged her to give me this little compressor that I saw that just plugs in and I can go. You know what she's been doing? Procrastinating and not getting me that compressor. I need it for wheelbarrow wheels, stuff like that. Bicycle tires.
Can you not buy your own compressor too? Or?
No, my wife does all that stuff on Amazon. I don't mess with Amazon.
Says Bucky, the jack has pictures on it too.
No. I saw that. I saw my jack with that on there.
Oh, that's funny. All right, let's get to the headlines, the trending topics to start your Monday morning. Get you caught up. Top Gun Equipment Rentals bring you the news, and we'll start, with Texas football. Big day yesterday on Saturday. as quarterbacked by the returning starter Quinn Ewers. The white team controlled and won the game 21-10. Ewers finished the day with 195 yards through the air, and maybe the highlight play of the day hit wide receiver A.D. Mitchell with a 13-yard touchdown. Near the end of the first half, the Georgia transfer made a leaping one-handed catch to secure the White Squad's third TD of that half. Redshirt freshman quarterback Malik Murphy also had a tremendous game for the Orange team. He finished the day 9 of 13 with 166 yards and hit the freshman wide receiver Jonte Cook with a 79-yard scoring pass in the third quarter. The longest play of the day for a happy head coach Steve Sarkisian.
Most notably, I thought we saw a lot of playmaking from the offensive side of the ball. A lot of skilled players, receivers, runners make some plays. I thought the defensive front kind of started stepping up in the second half, and so that was definitely a positive.
Texas baseball over the weekend wasn't the prettiest of weekends, but the Longhorns did get out of Waco with a series win. After holding on for a 7-6 win over the Baylor Bears yesterday, Texas pitching staff walked 26 batters, hit 6 more over the 3 games. Still won the Friday and Sunday contest. In Saturday's game, Baylor scored 5 runs in the bottom of the ninth to steal a 10-9 win. Despite that, Longhorns still in first place atop the Big 12 standings at 8-4. Also, congratulations to the Texas men's and women's tennis teams over the weekend. Both claimed Big 12 championships. On both sides. NBA playoffs, 4 more first-round games yesterday. Surprise, 3 of the 4 road teams and lower seeds were winners yesterday, including the LA Lakers. They went into Memphis and stunned the second-seeded Grizzlies, 128-112. Grizzlies had the best home record in the NBA. Lakers get the road win there. Also yesterday, 8th-seeded Miami went into Milwaukee and beat top-seeded Milwaukee, 130-117. Clippers took down Phoenix in Phoenix. And the only higher seed to win last night was Denver. They whipped Minnesota. Golf, great finish at Harbortown. Frustrating one, though, for the lifetime Longhorn Jordan Spieth. Spieth was looking to go back-to-back at RBC Heritage, but found himself in a playoff with Matthew Fitzpatrick. He had a great look at birdie on the first and second playoff hole, but had to settle for pars. One of those on the first one kind of rimmed out. And then it was the defending U.S. Open champion Fitzpatrick sticking his approach shot to about 6 inches. He tapped in for the win. Major League Baseball, Rangers whipped the Astros down in Houston last night, 9-1. Texas erupted for 6 runs in the 7th inning, highlighted by a Marcus Semien grand slam. They take 2 of 3 in the first Lone Star Series of the year. And if you missed it Saturday night, Austin FC largely outplayed Vancouver at Q2 Stadium, but had to settle for a 0-0 draw with the Whitecaps. They're now 2-3-2 on the year, 9th place in the Western Conference.
There's Sage Steele. She's in Hopkinton,
What?
Massachusetts. It's Patriots Day.
Yeah, today is Patriots Day. They're running the 47th Boston Marathon. That's a large number, 147.
Love Patriots Day.
And the the Sox will play a game this
They
morning.
play like at 11 o'clock, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
One of those early tilts.
Yeah. So you're watching the live coverage. Sage Steele. I was like, where's Sage Steele? Is she here? Just over my shoulder. Yeah, that is this morning. And also, as Ty has reminded us, the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs begin tonight. NBA playoffs started over the weekend. The real season, as I said, how about the Lakers? Was that what I say his first name? Rui Hashimura, the Gonzaga Bulldog, and the former Oklahoma Sooner Austin Reeves. We knew when he was at Oklahoma he was going to be a baller, didn't we?
Oh, yeah.
Who saw that coming? I didn't. Well, he was huge yesterday. He and Hachimura combined for 50 points, and the Lakers went on the road and beat Memphis. Ja Morant hurt his hand. Who knows if he's going to play in Game 2? That's a problem immediately for the Grizz. Also, as we said, the Heat beat the Bucks, and Giannis has a back injury. Clippers beat the Suns, and Russell Westbrook's going to be in trouble because he tried to get in a fight with a fan.
Goodness.
Knucklehead.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, back on Saturday, too, there were 4 other first game ones, and we'll talk more about that coming up. But your 76ers, Buck, handled Brooklyn. Okay, you're feeling good about that. James Harden, your guy.
Playoff time. Playoff James.
Playoff James. Called him Playoff James Harden.
Playoff James is back now.
Playoff James Harden doing his thing. But, Nick, how about the Knicks won in Cleveland? That was big for them. Warriors lost at Sacramento. How about the crowd at Sacramento? That was the hottest ticket in in sports over the weekend, was trying to get into that Sacramento Kings game against the Golden State Warriors on Saturday night. I think tickets were get in the door. Because it was the first playoff game in there in 17 years.
And speaking of marathons, wasn't the Capital 10K this weekend? Congrats to all those folks that ventured into that.
Isn't there a race every weekend now?
It's just about now.
I
guarantee you. I'm sure they're glad they didn't do it on Saturday because that was hot.
Yeah, the weather was.
That was not a marathon day.
Changed the thing, but changed the day. Temperature change was pretty dramatic from day to day. So I'm trying to say. This says I'm with Buck. Outsource the tire.
Outsource.
I love it. All right, let's talk some Texas spring game. Hear more from Sark afterwards. Longhorns won the game. The Longhorns white team won the football game. You talked about your observation. What'd you take away from the defensive side?
I thought there was good pressure. I think there was more, as I said, there were more sacks than that appeared to be. A lot of people will say, well, there wasn't enough pressure by the guys. There was no big threat coming from the outside. But guys, they're close enough that a lot of balls get batted down. And as I said, you start seeing guys get there, they start ducking out of the way because they don't want their defensive coach screaming. They're going to get screamed at either way. You weren't that close to them. You need to get closer to them. You can bat that down. But then at practice all spring long, people are telling you, don't get near the quarterback's knees. Definitely don't get near his thumb, his hands. You don't want the quarterbacks having their hands rattle off somebody's helmet and screw up their thumb. Dak Prescott. I mean, you don't want those kind of things to happen to your quarterback.
Yeah,
so you don't really know. But you understand when you watch the film, when you go back and watch the film, defensive guy is going to go, that's a sack.
Yeah,
I had him. That's
a
sack.
Well, and they were arguing with the officials from time to time too. Like, hey, come on, man.
Oh, that's why
blow
spring
the whistle.
game. Yeah,
blow the whistle. Well, look, we all get.
I've been in spring games where you tackled the quarterback.
Well, you've gotten this far with no key injuries. So
that's true.
You're just hoping to
most important thing.
Look clean. And look, there was probably 50,000 people there. I mean, I don't know what 50,000 people. So you want to put on a show. LHN's got it on as a broadcast. You want to have some highlights and have
you want
some fun.
You want the quarterback to throw.
Sure. But what you don't want is anybody getting hurt.
No.
So they had a bunch of guys wearing green jerseys, which means no contact. Of course, the quarterbacks were not live, so you couldn't touch them. So, yeah, you take what you can from it. I
came out thinking that they're going to miss Bijan an awful lot and Roshan.
Well, I think so, too. I think that's only natural. I think those were your two best players last year, without a doubt, and they carried your offense. This year, though, I think I don't want to say you replace them, but your offense can be as dynamic or more because you have more weapons that can, that was the thing that jumped off the screen or jumped off the field when you were there was the one-on-one matchups. I mean, Xavier Worthy, Jordan Whittington, A.D. Mitchell stepping in and stepping up. They didn't even have Isaiah Nayer out there. They didn't really use Jatavion Sanders. He played sparingly in the game. You're going to have matchup issues, which – Buck, if you're a defense and you're trying to get ready for that, if they're in three wides with Jatavion Sanders, you're going to, where are we doubling? Can we bring a guy down in the box? That should create a light box for your running game, which if you can win your individual battles up front, Buck, on what should be an improved offensive line, you don't need Bijan Robinson and Roshan Johnson to break tackles and force missed tackles. You should have open running lanes because your passing game should be able to threaten the defense to that extent. And, that's the hope. And so, yeah, Jonathan Brooks, he's not Bijan Robinson, but he can still be a productive running back.
Oh, and there's no doubt. As I said, I like the way he ended the season. I did. I mean, over the last couple of years, just watching him play, I know it's late and you're playing against some guys late in football games, but he's been very productive late in football games. When he's on the field, he makes it happen.
Yeah, and let's hear Sark on that. That's what they're trying to create is, we don't have Bijan, but we've got a lot of guys who can stress a defense, and that's the goal of how they've hit the recruiting trail to get Jordan Whittington back again, and he's 15 pounds lighter and looks like he's ready to have a dynamic year if he can stay healthy. Here's Sark on the weapons that they have put together.
And I thought we saw from an offensive perspective playmaking ability from a variety of people, which is something that we were hoping to get to as a team, to where it wasn't just one or two guys creating explosive plays, but that hopefully people are going to have to defend multiple people. And we saw that from obviously Xavier. We saw it from Jordan. We saw it from AD. We saw Jonte make a big play. We saw Jaden Blue in the open field. We saw Savion Red in the open field. We know what JT Sanders can be. So I think on that front, DeAndre Moore, I know he didn't make the one play, but came back and had another big play later. So I think that we've created a lot more versatility from an offensive perspective.
All right, so versatility from an offensive perspective, and that's the word versatile is what Sark used quite a bit. They were reliant on the running game last year. They were reliant on Bijan Robinson. They want to be more versatile, which means they're not relying on one person to lead the way. Let's hear one more on Sark, and that was on the offensive line. Remember, they didn't have, Connor Robertson or Cole Hudson, but they had a lot of experimenting going on. Here's Sark on what he saw from the group up front.
We did not it wasn't great not having Cole Hudson out there and Connor Robertson, but it created opportunity for DJ Campbell. It created opportunity for Cam Williams. We moved Hayden Connor around some this spring, and that gave Nato an opportunity. He played starting left guard for us, this past week and today, and played really well. So I feel very comfortable with kind of where we're at up front. We have to keep getting better and keep improving and finding that cohesiveness, but we have enough versatility and guys who can play multiple positions, but also the fact that, if a guy goes down, the next guy up, whoever that is, in whatever order that falls, who are the top 5 and who are the next guys after them, that they're going to be physical enough to play football at a high level and confident enough to.
Right there, Sark, on the offensive line. And that's obviously something the Longhorns have not had, which is offensive line depth. They do have guys, too deep there that can step in. And again, coming back, you're bringing your entire starting offensive line back from 1 year ago. That should be an improved unit based on
there's no doubt about that.
Which, to your point, Buck, that they're going to miss Bijan and Roshan, that's obvious. But at the same time, can they be even a more dynamic offense because they can do more things? And the passing game and the ability to create one-on-one matchups on the outside will open up the running game. Like we saw it do even on Saturday for a guy like Jaden Blue and a guy like Savion Red and, Keelan Robinson. Those guys are explosive players in their own right.
I think that's, what Ty said before. We didn't see Keelan Robinson. I mean, he's a guy that, you got some specialty plays for to get him outside and get going. And, when you're going against second string guys and second team guys, I mean, the long pass, Cook just blew by that dude. But the thing about him is that's real speed too. I mean, he's going to run by a lot. He's going to run by a lot of guys. When you're even, you're in trouble with him because he can accelerate. Plus, he can catch and run.
Well, and we learned watching that DeSoto team win a state championship.
Oh, he can catch and
He is
go.
a polished player.
Yeah,
he is,
and he looks like it.
Yeah, he is. And again, that long touchdown that was against a walk-on corner. That you're not going to see a lot on the field during the season, but at the same time, he showed that breakaway speed. The other part of that was, one play previous, Malik Murphy had thrown the deep ball to DeAndre Moore, the freshman out of California, and he dropped it. And then they go right back to it on the next play. And the thing I took note of was Malik Murphy, how effortless it is for him to throw that ball, 50, 60 yards down the field, and the accuracy with which he did it. Those were both dimes that he threw. One was dropped and one was a touchdown. So good to see Malik Murphy. Can we hear Sark on what's next for the Longhorns? If you're looking for their plan now, because the season is over, they're going to do exit meetings with everybody. But here's Sark on what the schedule looks like moving forward between now and the end of the school year into the summer.
One more week of kind of real weight training with them, just to see where their body's at. I don't want to call it testing, but we can see what a workload of spring ball did to their body and maybe where they get deficient, so we know how to work them in the summer. They will do some lifting on their own in their time off, but in that time, they're getting ready for finals and they're finishing up school, and I think they deserve that time to finish up school. Obviously, it's a challenging place, and so we got to give them that time to do that, and they need a little bit of time to decompress. When you play a bowl game late into the year like we did, and then you come back in January, you start winter conditioning again, they need a little time to kind of decompress, knowing when June hits, we're going to go for 9 weeks. And then after 9 weeks, we're going to take about 5 days off, and then it's training camp. And so they need a little bit of time to kind of let their bodies kind of, recharge the batteries and then come back ready to work. And so I think it's a good schedule. I think that, I think they really bought into it a year ago of the time that they have off. But that time, we can't lay around eating Doritos and eating Taco Bell and whatnot on the couch. You still have to do some work so that you're not overwhelmed when you come back after Memorial Day.
What? No Doritos? What?
Hear that, Ty? No Doritos or Taco Bell.
What's that all about?
Don't be laying up on the couch.
That was one of my dad's favorite coaching.
What, laying up on the couch?
Oh, eating the Doritos on the couch. Yeah, I feel like I've heard that a million times in my life.
Doritos, a delicacy if there ever was one. All right, so there was your Sark conversation from the Longhorns, and we'll hear more coming up as they get it. We'll take your observations. There was a big crowd on hand to see it. What'd you take away? I know there's a lot of quarterback chatter. Malik Murphy, impressive. And look, Quinn Ewers, we heard the cut earlier, Sark saying, we don't need a pecking order right now, but safe to say Quinn is our starter and our returning starter, and that he wants Malik Murphy and Arch Manning to push. and compete, right? I mean, you said it right earlier, Buck. You want the guy that's going to win the games, because if you are building an offense where it's about all these individual matchups where you can only double one guy.
Yeah, your 3 quarterbacks need to understand what's going on.
The quarterback's job is to get it and find that matchup. Who is the guy that has the best matchup in that spot? And maybe the matchup is a handoff, right? I mean, you line up and you read the defense, and they got a really light box. You're going to run the football. If they bring a guy into an extra defensive back into the box to try to stop your run game, well, somebody's open. Somebody's in a one-on-one. And we saw A.D. Mitchell be able to beat one-on-one coverage. We know Xavier Worthy can do it, Jordan Whittington, and we didn't hear him. We didn't get to see Isaiah Nair. Isaiah Nair didn't play, but Sark did say he's healthy. He's ready to go. He's had a really good spring. We just wanted to be really, really cautious with him.
Yeah, there's no reason to put him in the spring game, Priest Holmes.
Yeah, there's another one, and the aforementioned Jonte Cook. So if that's your offense, and again, we saw Sark run an offense like this at Alabama where they just had so many weapons. The quarterback's job was just to find that matchup and be accurate with the ball. And, we saw some of that from Quinn Ewers. We saw some accurate throws, but we also saw some, the A.D. Mitchell touchdown pass was an overthrow. I mean, that was a ball that, if A.D. Mitchell doesn't go up and be Spider-Man, it's an incomplete pass. He made the play for his quarterback, which the receivers have to do.
That's right.
At the same time, Quinn needs to step into that.
Those are some of the things they weren't doing last year.
Yeah. Well, look, if that's a throw in the middle of the field to A.D. Mitchell, who was open, well, that's going to be an overthrow and probably interception.
Pickles, yeah.
Because there's going to be a safety's going to be behind him, and he didn't have anybody behind him because he's in the end zone. But those are the things that you need Quinn Ewers to work on, because with his ability to throw the ball and their ability to create mismatches, there's going to be an opportunity for
and then every once in a while you expect a wide receiver to make a play,
Sure.
make a play like that. I mean, that guy, you can tell he's been in a program. I mean, that's used to winning. He's cutting above another level of athlete. I mean, he can make that play. He probably can make that play a lot. So I mean, if it's there, you can make the play. You can help out the quarterback too sometimes.
No question.
And even as I said about Quinn and those outside patterns, those guys, some of those balls they can catch too. Oh. Now, I mean, you're going to gain. You're not going to catch and run, but you're going to catch the ball from where you started out and gain 5 or 6 yards on some of those hitch routes. So they're not all uncatchable. They're not placed where they probably should be placed, but you're allowed to make that catch as a wide receiver also. That's part of your job too.
No, that's right.
And that's why last year to me it was so disorganized. The quarterback sometimes didn't throw it in the right place, but sometimes the wide receivers they weren't in the right place, or they had an opportunity to make a play. They didn't make the play themselves.
We'll talk about it with you. Great crowd, good game. Texas 21-10 in the orange over the white. Also talk more about the new practice facility that's coming online. The Texas baseball team won a series, but man, felt like you lost it. We'll hear from Craig Way coming up with David Pierce. Horns take 2 out of 3 in Waco, but man, what a roller coaster ride it was. We'll recap that coming up. We'll also hit the NBA playoffs coming up. It's a busy Monday. Blitz and gossip before the end of the hour. It's B&E on the Horn.
It's Bucky and Erin.
And what a weekend. Longhorn spring game, Texas baseball, Texas tennis. Also out at Coda, Buck, it was the MotoGP. Marc Marquez crashed out. Listen to this headline. Marquez crashed out of Coda MotoGP sprint race after vomiting in his helmet.
Ooh.
What?
Nasty.
Yes, so we'll have to check in with our buddy Rodney Rodriguez on that. Because,
Speaking of Rodney, he gave me a winner in NASCAR yesterday. NoHo 400.
Who'd you take?
Kyle Larson.
Kyle Larson
Took it
to
home.
win, and you made a big bundle, huh?
Sure, Wags didn't give you that.
Wags is a Martin Truex Jr. kind of guy. That's the only guy he picks in NASCAR. But he'll give you some NASCAR picks for sure.
But just not winners.
No, no winners.
He'll give you some picks.
It was I asked Rodney about I call him or text him about every Saturday, and get 3 or 4 racers from him to put a little change on. And this week he gave me a winner. So thank you, Rodney, if you're listening.
What about the USFL? Did you?
Well,
I saw a little bit.
Big story of the weekend was the XFL. And the XFL, they had a season high in attendance over the weekend. More than 75,000 fans attended games over the weekend. I don't know if you saw the game in D.C. that was on ESPN. I think they had the longest beer snake ever. Right? The beer cup thing that they do. It's pretty unbelievable.
Really?
This thing went all the way up. It was unreal. But yeah, St. Louis continues to get great crowds, and there were over 75,000 fans this weekend with all of their games combined. So XFL, USFL is online.
Mm-hmm.
Got motorcycle racing out at Coda this weekend, and had that big country concert, the Two-Step Festival out in Georgetown. So something for everybody this weekend for sure. Hope you had a great one. That's why we're taking your good, your bad, and your ugly from the weekend that was. What'd you see that you liked? What'd you see that wasn't so good? And what was just downright ugly? And Ty, I know you're a professional gambler, but it's odd to bet on things you don't know much about. That doesn't.
Well, that's why I call Rodney.
But you don't have to bet on it.
Well, I'm trying I'm trying to get into it.
So betting on it lets then you can watch it.
Yes.
It makes you watch.
I mean, I could watch the last 20 laps of any NASCAR race. It's pretty exciting, but to watch the whole thing, yes, I need to make it interesting for myself.
Did you bet on your Rangers?
Yes.
Okay, see.
That was part of I parlayed the NASCAR winnings into a little,
Very nice
Sunday night parlay that turned into a big unit play.
Got a boy. Well, thank you, Rodney. And if Rodney's out there listening, let us know why was Marc Marquez vomiting into his helmet.
Gross.
That's a little odd. As we get this thing rolling, we're talking Texas football, of course, and a lot of folks weighing in on their thoughts from the only chance to see the Longhorns. As we said on Saturday, it was 142 days from the Baylor game to Saturday, and now it's another 140 days from Saturday until the first game with the Rice Owls. So we're parsing through it. And as you said, Buck, it's a spring game, so it's not as physical as it's going to be come game time. It's a lot of guys in green jerseys, meaning you can't touch them. But we could see.
But you got a little bit of everything. You got some goal line offense, goal line defense. Yeah,
and you mentioned C.J. Baxter, the freshman, who maybe run a little bit too high at the goal line. You got to get down. You got to win the leverage game if you're going to try to,
especially if you're a tall dude.
Yeah, but what else?
In high school, you'll be able to push those guys into the end zone.
Did you notice anything else from number 4 that caught your eye, or any of the running backs?
Well, I like Jaden Blue, the guy that I didn't see in the bowl game that we were wondering where he was. I thought he did some really nice things. And nice that the walk on. I don't like where the hell did that guy come from?
Yeah, 29.
I thought he was
Kai. Name is Kai something.
Kai Woods.
Kai Woods.
Kai Woods was making some. I mean, he was making some guys miss in some short, in some short quarters there for a little bit. I thought he did. I thought he played pretty well. I mean, he's one of those guys. Back in the day, I find a way to get something to him on third downs. Him going 1-on-1 against. Now, I don't know if they come in total blitz, if he can pick up a blitz, or he'll be in the quarterback's laps. But I've always found guys like that I could get in the game and give me 5 yards, catch the ball, fall down. No heroics, just, hey, once you get it, please. You get the first down.
Uh-oh. Hey. Kai Woods, I'm starting to get Kai money shades. Kai money shades from the Buck. Remember when Buck was big on Kai money? Can we get the money, man? Go, what are we doing over here?
They let me down. They let us all down.
That guy should have never gotten as much playing time as he did.
That was Buck's guy.
What are you talking about?
Kai Money?
Yeah, a productive guy like that, you got to find a place for him.
Yeah, they had him and Andrew Beck out wide. Like it was
scary the defense.
Yeah, just burning.
They had to change defense.
Yeah. I think again that's when Sark says this looks like my team. I think that's what he's talking about. When he got here, they had not a lot of speed. They were kind of light up front, and we got to get that turned around. We got to get bigger if we're going to the Southeastern Conference.
Yeah, but they won bowl games with Tom Herman. Let's not forget that.
They did.
All of them.
They did. They've only played in one for Sark, but got to build the program. Let's hear Sark on a basic question: how good can this team be? How good can this team be? Sark was asked that question. Do we know in mid-April? Well, how good this team can be? Sark was asked that after the game on Saturday. How good can they be?
And they refused.
There he is. We're talented. I think that we're together, and that's to me is more and more important than the talent. The fact that I think that the connectivity on this team, the culture that these guys have created with each other, they have a lot of fun with one another. It's the first time today I came into the team meeting and they were all singing a song together. 2 years ago, you could have heard a church mouse in here when I walked into a team room. And now they're actually having a lot of fun being a team with one another and appreciating the work that each of them are doing. And that comes from love. And the fact that that's where we're at as a team, that's going to help us overcome the adversity we're going to get faced with in the fall. But I definitely think we're talented enough. Now we just got to keep putting in the work and make sure we understand the whys of the things that we're doing and put ourselves in a position of where we're ready to go compete at a high level with a full allotment of our 85 scholarships.
All right, so they're together and they're talented, and that's why it's the no excuses year for Texas. They should be. I think it's fair to say if they're not playing for a Big 12 championship this year, this will be a disappointing season.
I believe so.
And I think we saw that. We got to see what we're talking about when we say that on Saturday. They've got a lot of good players. They're deeper than they've been. They've got weapons. They've got quarterbacks.
Got to make the plays.
They'll probably need more than one quarterback this year. And you saw Malik Murphy for the first time. That looks like a guy that could step in and help you win some football games if you need him in that spot. I mean, gosh, Hudson Card had to play 4 or 5 games last year, so that's where Texas is. But optimism, but you got to continue to build on it because. And look, I don't think they're done. I think there's already 4 guys in the portal. Most of them are guys you don't know. We haven't seen a lot of. They're down the depth chart type of players. It was interesting to me to see Jaden Alexis in the game, and he caught a ball late in the game. And Jaden Alexis is in the portal. He entered the portal and was still playing.
Working on his resume?
Yeah, and the word from the program was that he's just been a great teammate, that he's going to look for something else, but he's been really a positive player, and so let him get out there and show some tape. And,
sure.
Didn't Sark say recently that once you're in the portal, see ya?
Yeah, which is interesting. Well, no, he's not coming back, but it was interesting to see him on the field. And then it was Bobby Burton at Inside Texas who wrote that this morning, that he was told that he's just been a really good teammate. He wants to, find it. He's not going to play much here. Let's be fair about that.
Right.
With all the receivers we're talking about, Jaden Alexis, a kid out of Florida, he's not going to see the field much. But he wants to play somewhere. And so to, be on the field and be able to show that and, try to find somewhere else, I get that. Same time, but they might not be the only 4. There probably will be more after the exit meetings and exit interviews, and wrapping up the spring that enter that portal. And at the same time, Sark was clear that we're not done looking. I mean, they're going to look for edge rushers. They're probably going to look on the interior of the defensive line for depth because you never have too many guys up there. They now know where they may be a little bit deficient.
Sure, yeah. This week and next week, a lot of spring games will be over with, and guys will be making decisions.
Yeah, there were a lot of spring games over this weekend.
Yeah.
So obviously, yes, those decisions to be made. And
any more Aggies leaving? Because they've already lost 26, 27 guys. 26 players have left
their
your
spring
place
game yesterday, I believe.
Wow.
But yes, I mean, and that becomes, more, do you add more people? Gosh, remember, Isaiah Nair came in last year in the summertime. He was a commitment during after the spring, and those kind of guys can you imagine losing 26 guys on your football team, you deciding to go somewhere else, and you thought these were the guys that wanted to come and play for you,
and you're paying the coach how much to keep him there?
Yeah.
Good Lord, 26.
Somebody said the defensive lineman Bear Alexander is in the portal. Yeah, that's an interesting name. Now he's a kid from Texas. Remember, his recruitment was weird. I mean, he was all over the place with where he was going to go, and I think he signed late and went to Georgia. He's in the portal, but there's early word he's going to USC. That would be exactly the kind of player you're talking about, because Bear Alexander's a big defensive tackle who's into the portal. But so yeah, this roster is what it is, but I think it'll see more change. But what it is right now can win the Big 12. It's talented enough to win the Big 12. And that's on Sark and the coaches, and they got to put it on the dirt and there is no excuse this year for them not to be in Arlington playing for the championship come December. This team has a lot of pieces, but you got to put them together and win those close games that you let get away last year and finish games. And
yeah, there won't be any quick whistles. There won't be any spring type stuff when it starts.
We
September.
certainly, as the week goes on, we'll recap the spring games from around the state because there are a bunch of them. We'll certainly dive in there. But talking Texas spring game today, also the Texas weekend, the NBA playoffs are underway, and we'll get into this Texas baseball team. But coming up in the Craig Way report, what a weekend! They took 2 out of 3 from Baylor, but man, it was a battle. Think about even on Friday night, Texas won 11-9, but that's kind of deceiving. It was 11-3 with 3 outs to play, and Baylor put 6 runs on the board and made it tenuous in the ninth inning. And you're thinking, what the heck are you doing? Lucas Gordon pitched great. He gave you his normal rock solid start. Lucas leads the Big 12 in ERA by a lot. He is your Mr. Reliable. Then you get to Saturday, you're up comfortably. You're up 4 runs in the ninth inning, 9-5, and you lose the game, 10-9. You can't get the final 3 outs. Then yesterday, it was more back and forth, and over the course of the weekend, 26 walks, 4 or 5 more hit batters for the weekend, so absolute free passes. They've got to get that figured out because the only reason they won the series, beat Baylor, and get 2 out of 3 is Baylor's not good. They're going to play Oklahoma this weekend, who's also not having a great year for Skip Johnson after making it all the way to Omaha last year. But you got Oklahoma coming. You got your toughest series to come. You got to figure that out and find a different mindset on the pitcher's mound. And you just can't.
Did Oklahoma win their series this weekend?
I didn't see the Big 12 scores.
I think they may have.
We'll look at the Big 12. But Longhorns are at 8-4. They're in first place, and so a lot to like about that. But at the same time, that'll get you. You can't
be walking guys and giving them free bases.
And those final 3 outs. And you know what? What's the name we've been talking about for the last couple of weeks? Tanner Witt. Tanner Witt is probably a week away from maybe seeing some in-game action, according to David Pierce, because we talked to him 2 weeks ago, and he said it's probably a 3-week, timeline before he's able to get back if things go well. And so far, we haven't heard of any speed bumps for Tanner. Well, that's a guy. We talk about these final 3 to 6 outs of a baseball game. They're having a hard time with, and if he gets back, that could become a huge shot in the arm to that bullpen. No pun intended. We'll come back. We will hit the blitz, load it up, 447-3776. Also have a little salacious gossip in there. See what happened to the Ohio State wide receivers coach over the weekend? Man, we'll get you details on that coming up. But first, it's Craig Way. Salacious gossip brought to you by the icy cold frosty Bud Light skis. Hope you had some good ones over the weekend, and certainly at the Texas Spring Game. The tailgate was a lot of fun down there on Bevo Boulevard. The autograph session and then live music and good times ahead of the game at 1 o'clock. Good to see everybody out there. Won't gather again until September, but it was fun to be out there on Saturday for sure. Okay, Buck. So how about this? A woman in Spain, 50-year-old woman named Beatriz.
Yeah.
Beatriz. T-R-I-Z.
Oh, Beatriz.
She elected to be part of an experiment to find out about internal clocks and how a human will react to extreme isolation. She spent 500 days in a cave alone, a dark cave alone, and had no contact with anyone else. She went in on November the 20th of 2021. And if that was the pandemic was still going on, the war in Ukraine hadn't begun yet. She was 48 when it began. She celebrated 2 birthdays in the cave, but she didn't know that it was her birthday because she said she stopped trying to keep track of days by day 65, and she just lived in isolation. They sent her food, and then she would send her waste back up from the cave, and didn't have TV, couldn't read the news, and she said she loved it. She said she was surprised when they came to get her because she didn't know she'd been there that long. Extreme isolation. I'm sure you'll see a lot more on this, ladies.
Yeah. When does it just become just another day?
You don't even know what a day is.
Yeah.
What's a day? What's an hour? You're just there.
In darkness?
Yeah. Was it completely? I don't think it was dark. She just had no contact with anyone.
Oh, okay. So she didn't go through Aaron Rodgers stuff.
No.
Okay.
Now,
because he's tough.
And scientists were able to watch her the whole time. She had 2 GoPros so they could see her.
Okay.
This was all an experiment. And, she said she was shocked when they came to get her last Friday because she didn't think she'd been in there that long.
She wanted to stay longer.
She would have guessed it was about 170 days if she had to guess. And it was 500 days, which is incredible.
Wow.
Yeah. Would you even think about doing that?
Nope.
I don't know.
I need contact.
You got to be pretty lonely to even.
She said she wasn't lonely.
I mean, to go and do that?
Yeah,
I don't want to be alone with my own thoughts that long.
Says here she had a panic button, but she never felt like she needed to push it. Like she never even considered it.
Huh.
How about this guy? He might have needed to push the panic button. A man in Oregon wanted to bless others, so he took $200,000 out of his bank account and started throwing it out of his vehicle all over a busy highway. Some drivers were happy, but apparently Colin Davis McCarthy's family members, who are also attached to the bank account, aren't real happy with him. They're asking for the money back. It's one thing to want to be charitable, but throwing money out the car window?
It don't belong to you, all of it?
I think it was his, but yeah, it doesn't sound like he's all in his right
No.
frame of mind.
He needs to be in that room of darkness.
The room of darkness. We mentioned this earlier, but if you watched the Netflix popular show Love is Blind, last night's reunion show was a disaster. Not good. Ty's girlfriend's mad.
Yeah.
You know if they're going to redo it?
I think they ended up not, because they were trying to do it live on Netflix, which I thought was weird in the first place. I've never seen anything like that. I'm sure they're capable of doing it, but I guess whatever screwed up, they ended up just recording it there, and then should be out today or something. I don't know, something like that.
All right. What are the odds that we have a woman named Beatriz twice in our same salacious gossip? It's a substitute teacher in Texas. See where this is. Texas Middle School, Kimbrough Middle School, here in the great state. Her name, Beatriz Martinez. She's in trouble because she turned her middle school classroom into a fight club. The only reason she was caught was because a student took a video of the incident. A fight club.
Where the kids are just beating each other?
Middle school, that's the time for fight clubs. We had a fight club.
An educator. Here's another educator being heard from. It's the time for it.
We had a fight club. I mean, it wasn't like nobody was seriously hurting each other. We just wanted to wrestle and throw some hands.
That's right. That's when that damn Joe Potak jacked me up.
Joe Potak got the best of you. He's bigger than you, too, because you weren't the biggest
monster.
Guy. Yeah. Joe Potak. So, yeah, she's...
None called him an animal.
Good to know that Beatriz, Miss Martinez, has been fired by the school district. And, fight club in the middle school. What's the number one rule of Fight Club, Ty?
There is no Fight Club.
There is no Fight Club. What are you doing taking a video of it, kid?
That's right.
Ours was behind the back of the school by the buses after school.
That's where what was this, middle school?
Yeah.
Of course.
It went on for like a month before we got caught, too.
Ours was in the arena. You had
then
to
it
go
went to the
downstairs.
How did it work? How did you know who was fighting that day?
We had like fight promoters. It was like a legit thing. And you had to pay $1. We'd have a gate of guys right there, and you had to pay $1 to come watch. And it was about the same three
You
guys
see why he has
fighting
this
every
little
day.
gambling problem right now? They had a gate in middle school.
I'm really worried about you, Ty.
Yeah, they had a gate.
I'm
They
really
had to
worried
pay
about
to get
Ty.
through the gate in middle school.
Let's go to your blitz.
The Bucky and E Blitz.
Here we go. First blitzer, you're up.
Hey, ever since Bucky had them Aggies all bent over, they can't even stand up straight. And Ty, I was throwing them sugar cubes on Kyle Field like dice dancing on the table.
Dice. That was a great big dog. Next blitzer, you're up.
All last week, I heard on your radio station, Lakers have no chance against Memphis. Wrong again, dumbasses. And their players heard in Memphis. Lakers all the way, baby.
Lakers all the way.
They ride that Austin Reeves all the way to the finals.
There you go. Next blitzer, talk to us.
Yeah, it was a good thing that we had this series with Baylor. The batters for Baylor were sitting right on top of the plate. Woody Stevens needs to get the middle relief in the closer to throw that inside pitch.
Thank you.
Right?
You're right, Coach. Thank you.
Woody Williams would be the pitching coach. And, yeah, they coaxed a lot of that by being aggressive and stepping up in the box, but you got to be able to deal with it.
Absolutely. Next blitzer, you're up.
Hey, E, if Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes, and Josh Allen were available for the Texans to draft, which one would the Texans pick?
Say him again. Justin Herbert, Josh Allen, and who?
Patrick Mahomes.
They would take Mahomes. Oh, the Texans?
Wrong. Uncle Rico.
Uncle Rico. They'll screw it up somehow. That's
Next blitzer, you're up.
Yeah, this is a Pastor Smasher.
What's up, Smasher?
Yo, we had a fight club in middle school. It was called Bull in the Ring.
Bull in the ring. Yeah, I did that too. My head coach stopped me from that. Next blitzer, talk to us.
Hey, dumbass Aggies, you know that Elon Musk with Tesla does not pay taxes. Don't fool yourself. Manufacturers get everything tax-free, exempt.
Listen to the big dog on.
It's on a roll today.
Oh, yeah. Financials.
Double shot power.
Double shot big dog.
Hey, we'll come back. Yeah, your taxes are due tomorrow. We'll have some tax conversation. Tomorrow is your day. Since the 15th fell on the weekend, you just flip it over and you got 2 extra days.
Get that extension.
What's that?
Say, go get that extension.
Yeah, you can file for an extension. I think they get you to October.
Oh, they a little cost you a little something.
Well, do it.
Yeah, you don't get extensions for free. You got to pay something.
Sure. I've never had to do that. Maybe we'll do that
I don't
this
know
year.
how that works.
All right, we'll be back. We got one more hour of our show. Craig Way just sent us a text that David Pierce will be on Light the Tower today, Texas baseball coach. So if you want to hear his thoughts on the weekend, sitting in first place but dealing with some control issues on the pitcher's mound this weekend, he will be on with Craig coming up. Longhorns up to number 14 in this week's D1 baseball top 25, sitting atop the Big 12 halfway through the Big 12 race. That'll be coming up in our 10 o'clock hour. But coming up next, we reset more on the Longhorn spring game, more from Steve Sarkisian coming off of the spring game, and the good, the bad, and the ugly from the busy weekend here on B&E.
Folks, after 22 years, Straight Music is moving from Ben White at South Lamar to a new world-class location just a few miles down the hill. Rather than move everything, they're going to have a moving sale just for you. That's right. They are moving, and the location is going to be absolutely super, absolutely badass, as a matter of fact. It's going to be one of the best music stores in the nation right here in Austin, Texas. Now, the sale goes through all the way through the end of this month for sure, and then in May, they'll be moving to their new location. But right now on sale are guitars, pianos, amps, keyboards, pro audio, drums, band, orchestra. If you're in the band, what a place to go to for sure. Now, this is only at the Ben White location and only for the month of April, folks. And when May comes, they'll be in their new location. As I said, it's just right down the road. For more information, go to, of course, straightmusic.com.
Rolling on a Monday. Hope you had a great weekend. We're recapping it with you, the good, the bad, and the ugly from the couple days. And, yeah, what a difference to the weather made one day to the next, right? Record-setting heat on Saturday. Just spectacular yesterday. It's actually cool in the morning. Maybe a little bit nippy yesterday morning.
I'm going to take a shot and say an African dude is going to win the Boston Marathon men's division. Just a shot.
Probably a good bet. You're not allowed to bet on that, though. You can't. You have to pick a person.
Oh.
You can't just say I'm betting on an. You can't.
I just can't say I'm betting on an African dude.
They might have that prop bet.
I bet they don't.
Bet. Come on. Find it. Find that prop bet.
I don't think you can. But, yeah, the Boston Marathon is underway. It's Patriots Day in Beantown, which always a good time on a Monday. They're running right by your alma mater right now.
Yes, they are. They're in Newton, Mass right now.
Have y'all watched that documentary on Netflix about the Boston bombings that just came out?
Yes.
It's
good, isn't it?
It's good, yeah.
This one says,
and then we watched the movie.
Vicky said, this texter says, Bucky, I've never paid a fee for an extension on taxes. Says, if you don't pay the full amount, there is an interest charge, however.
The interest charge, yes.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I called it a fee. Okay, interest.
Yeah.
Seems to be a fee to me.
Yeah. Well.
Interest. It's interest.
You don't have to pay to file the extension.
Oh, no. You can file an extension for free, but there will be interest on that.
Well, he says if you don't pay the full amount, there'll be interest. Like when you finally do pay it, correct?
Yeah, you're getting interest paid on. I mean, if you pay it in October or November, yeah, there'll be interest on that money that you owed.
Okay.
They're going to get a little bit extra on theirs.
What does your grandmother say about that, Ty? Your grandmother, the tax attorney.
I don't know. She'd probably have to.
She says pay the full thing while you can.
Oh, no, yeah. She made sure. She texted me a few times like, hey, get your stuff together. Call me. We're getting this done. I mean, I did it. She just advised me the entire time of what to expense, which I had no idea how any of that stuff worked. So I'm glad I know.
I'll
now.
be using her next year.
Sure. Yeah, it's free.
She is? Grandma's free?
Yeah. She's semi-retired, so it's...
Is that what she did? Attorney?
She did a bunch of HR stuff for
okay.
TGI Fridays, so I don't know. She said that she dealt with people's tax returns for like 30 years. When she got it done quick.
What about that car? Where's that car at?
24th.
24th, you get the car?
Yeah, I'm just going to drive up there, drive back.
Yeah.
After the show.
Didn't you try to do that last week and something
Wasn't
went
quite
wrong?
Ready.
You had a flat tire?
Yeah, no, the mechanic called me because she took it to the shop just to get it looked at before she gave it to me. And there were some issues that we're going to take until the 24th. So that's why I'm going up
there. You go.
There you go. All right. Ty update. Good stuff. He did win a big bet over the weekend on NASCAR.
I know. That was, I parlayed those winnings into the Clippers, Rangers, Nuggets parlay.
Yeah, how about the NBA yesterday? All three of the four road teams winning game ones in the NBA's playoffs, including the Lakers. Had the Blitzer who's all fired up about the Lakers. And, man, that's if you have a team with LeBron James and Anthony Davis and then Rui Hachimura and Austin Reeves become your go-to guys, that's some pretty good depth right there. But can they do it for the whole series becomes the question. Memphis still probably the more talented team, but, gosh, if you have LeBron and Davis, you've got a chance.
I don't know about John Moran. It's the way he fell on his wrist. Whoa.
Yeah, shooting hand for sure. He's got an injury now. So we'll see where that goes as the NBA's real season has begun. No more load management, Buck. And we're taking nights off. We're playing.
Oh, we're going to play every game?
Got to play. And you
in
play
the
to win
playoffs?
each game now.
Okay.
That's what began over the weekend.
Somebody says, Ty, please post your grandma's website. Somebody not happy with their CPA.
Hey, well, TurboTax usually you got to pay like $100, but he'll get it done. He'll walk you through it.
I did TurboTax one year when I wasn't married.
And does your wife do your taxes now?
No.
You have a guy?
I have a guy.
You got a guy.
I have a guy, yes.
There you go. Always good. Next year you use Ty's grandma.
Yes. I may be needing a new guy.
All right, we're in on that. All right, can we hear from Steve Sarkisian coming off of spring game 20 and 23? Longhorns orange team played the white team. White team won at 21-10 was your final score. And Quinn Ewers led 3 scoring drives in that first half. He capped it off with a touchdown pass to A.D. Mitchell, Adonai Mitchell across the middle at the end of the first half because they went pretty much running clock except for inside the final 4 minutes of each half. They went running clock. So game went pretty quick, but they did have 4 15-minute quarters, and they had a halftime. And the orange team, the white team, won the ball game. Final score, 21-10. We talked about it throughout the course of the morning. Your takeaways, Buck, were after talking about it now for 3 hours? Where are you on this team right now? Are you still feeling no excuse to her? Or?
Well, and there's still no excuse to her. No, they've got too much talent. I'm still not quite sure who's going to be the bell cow running back. I mean, there may be 2 or 3 of them, or 5 or 6 of them. Who knows? But I still think they've got some work to do at that position. The offensive line will be much better by the time the summertime is over with, when they have all their pieces together and that same offensive line is together. The wide receiver room should be outstanding, and I think the quarterback room is stronger. I mean, defensively, it's just too hard. It's too hard for me to tell defensively. No turnovers. Nobody caused anybody to fumble. Nobody intercepted anything. So it's just hard for me to see defensively until they really just, until they get after it on defense.
Yeah. Well, I think the pieces are there, and that's the thing, right? Because the defensive side is the one. If you're not allowed to hit the quarterback,
right,
and you want to keep people,
and you don't want to tear out one of your own guys,
right,
you want to put them in a bad situation where you hurt one of your own guys.
Yeah, we're not headhunting over here.
No,
but I did see number 0, Anthony Hill, showing up quite a bit. The freshman out of Denton Ryan. He was an active player.
He looks very natural there too.
Jalen Ford was active in the middle again, and he played all the way into the fourth
quarter.
quarter.
I was worried about that. That made me start thinking about Priest Holmes stuff. Dude, he was in there with like 2 minutes to go in the game.
Yeah. And, they left their guys, a lot of those guys in there. But here's Sark, because is the pass rush improved? And Sark was asked not just specifically about this game, but did he see enough about this defense that the pass rush, which was the number one focus, is better and will be better in 2023?
The pass rush. Yeah, I did. Again, it's hard when you have to split those guys up, because I think we have some good packages now where we can get people on the field in certain combinations, and they can be very disruptive. And you can count on certain guys that are nowhere penetrator types that can affect the quarterback, and other guys that can clean things up. I think our linebackers are good rushers as well. So all in all, I feel good about it. Is there potential we may add a guy here or there? We'll see. Nobody knows. The portal opened today, so I don't know what's going to happen. But the reality of it is the roster we have up there up front, I feel good about.
Okay. And as we said, the portal is opened on Saturday. Longhorns have 4 players in it, but 4 guys that, I don't think we're going to be major contributors for the Longhorns in 2023 either anyway. So, but yeah, Sark said we may be looking for, and there may be more guys on this roster who end up in the portal. And all that shakes out here after spring, because as Sark said, we'll keep them for another week, do some diagnostics on them, see where their bodies are, and then give them some time off between now and Memorial Day. And then they'll come back Memorial Day and hit the summer workouts June, July, and then they're back for camp. And September 2nd against the Rice Owls. How about the quarterbacks? Sark was asked about a quarterback pecking order. Quinn Ewers, of course, was the starter. Quinn Ewers, of course, was the starter and ran with the white team. Meanwhile, it was Malik Murphy and Arch Manning rotating as quarterback of the orange team. And Malik really performed well. Here's Sark on the pecking order, where it stands right now.
Beauty of it is I don't have to establish a pecking order right now. That's the beauty of it. I have another 29 practices to go in fall camp. I think, to be fair to all these guys, like Malik, that was his first spring that he ever had. He didn't get spring a year ago. And of that, he missed the first about 5 practices before he really was able to go in team drills. So what does that look like moving forward? Arch, those are his first 15 practices of his life in college. So sometimes, we can rush to judgment on where guys are at. I think it's pretty clear to say, Quinn's our starting quarterback, and we feel very good about that. But I don't ever want to take the stinger of these other guys that they're not competing for something, that they're not striving for something, because they're all talented players. They're great teammates with one another. And I think they all appreciate how hard each of them work. And I think we're in a very fortunate position to have 3 quality guys in that room that work the way that they do.
I think if that's, as he said, we know what Quinn is. Quinn's working on his body and working on his footwork. And, he was efficient when he was in. He wasn't perfect, but he was efficient. And then, the one that really opened up eyes was Malik Murphy, with his, just ability to stand tall in the pocket, deliver a tight football, quick release. Malik Murphy was impressive.
Dude, he's a big guy.
He's big. He's imposing. I mean, you're watching this and you're thinking, well, Quinn Ewers is going to play in the NFL eventually. Arch Manning is projecting to the National Football League. Then you're watching Malik Murphy saying, well, that guy, look at that guy. He is impressive. Here's Sark on Malik. Again, he came in the same time as Quinn Ewers did. He came in as a freshman from high school. So but he's the same age as Quinn Ewers. Let's not forget if Quinn Ewers had reclassified his graduation and gone to Ohio State for a semester, they're the same age. But Quinn got to play last year. Malik was hurt and redshirted. But here's what Sark saw from Malik Murphy on Saturday.
I thought what I saw from Malik was when he really started to settle in. He has natural ability to pass the football, and he has he's got great vision. When he pushes the ball down the field, it's natural. It's not like he has to force it, or he's got a quick delivery and quick release. And I also think Malik's a really good leader. He always brings a lot of positive energy every time he takes the field, which I think is great. So it was awesome for us. Even this spring, he wasn't able to participate the first week. We kind of had to hold him out and then had to gradually work him back in. So the idea that hopefully we can get him completely healthy going into training camp where he gets that foundation of the installation, I think the sky's the limit for the guy. He's a really talented player, and I thought he showed today with making some of the throws that he did.
Well, they'll all get better. That's the thing about it.
Yeah,
they'll
if you
all
project what we saw Saturday,
right.
6 more or 138
Absolutely.
more days.
They'll all get better. They get closer to real life competition going against somebody else. They're going to get better. Or with this group, you'll get left behind because they're talented quarterbacks. But you also feel confident enough. If a guy's having an off day, see ya. You got to win games. This team has to win games. This can't be about, well, we wanted to let him get a couple more throws. And no, you got to win football games this year. There won't be any excuses about, well, maybe we should have put the guy in sooner. We wanted to let him get some rhythm. Screw that. You need to win football games this year.
Well, and as I'm listening to Sark talk about Malik Murphy, and we know what Arch Manning is, both of those guys are, really driven players. Both, the word on Arch.
That's what I mean. That's why they're going to get better.
Yeah, and that'll push Quinn, right?
Absolutely.
Quinn admitted that he, needed to get in the weight room. He needed to change his diet. He needed to get back to work on some things. Well, these two guys aren't going to back down behind him, and there's no doubt about that. I mean, it seems pretty likely that Quinn will be the starter, and Malik Murphy will be the backup, and likely that Arch Manning redshirts, which has kind of been the working thought since Arch Manning committed. But at the same time, Malik Murphy stood up and said, "Wait a second, y'all. I'm going to try to be in this thing," and Sark didn't deny that. He said, "I want them to have that stinger," he called it. I want them to try to come get it, and you're right. But that's when you recruit good players. And a lot of good players, that's going to push. You're playing for reps. You're playing for that starting job, and you have to earn that starting job.
Because that starting job could come at any time.
Yeah, and
and generally does in football
for sure. Somebody said during the Colt McCoy interview, he said Malik is bigger than Vince Young. Yeah, no, he's big 6'5". If you see him doing when he walks down Bevo Boulevard doing the player walk, dude, he stands out. Yes, he is. His head
looks like a defensive end coming through there.
He's a unique talent, as this texter says. He is. It's going to be interesting to watch, and I think a lot of people saw that and took notice. I mean, there was that little what was about a 15-yard in that he threw.
That thing went in a hurry,
man,
and it got there way before the other guys could get in there.
I mean, he's put his foot in the ground, and that ball was coming, and really.
And those are catchable balls. They stick to you, E.
I think
you don't get a chance to drop those. They stick right in your gut.
Well, you talked about the swing routes that he threw to the moving receivers.
Oh yeah,
put them led them into the ball, which you want to see from a player. Again, we have not seen Malik Murphy. We've heard about Malik Murphy. We knew he was a highly recruited kid coming out of high school in California, but this was the first time to see him. And if that's the first you get, that's a pretty good first impression that he made on Longhorn fans. And Steve Sarkisian happy to see.
Well, they're all exceptional. They all three of these guys got exceptional arms.
They do. Well, look again. These look like NFL players. Big picture. Longhorns haven't had that at the quarterback position in quite a while. Look, when Colt says he's bigger than Vince, Vince was the last quarterback or player the last time Texas recruited a quarterback who was the number 1 rated quarterback in high school coming out, right? Well, Quinn Ewers was the number 1 rated high school coming out, and then of course he didn't play his senior season. We remember that. But Arch Manning, that has that, and Malik Murphy is showing that. Wait a second, guys, I'm in this too. Don't forget about me. And take notice. So that'll be interesting to watch, and that can only help the team. Is the competition between the three pushing one another, and that's going to
make each other better.
I think
yes.
If you're Steve Sarkisian, you're thinking that drives Quinn Ewers to find his highest ceiling. And as you said, the footwork, continue to work on the mechanics day by day. Now that spring is over, as Sark said, don't be laying up on the couch eating Taco Bell and Doritos. We need to keep this body thing going, keep this mechanics thing going, because
or you won't have that job.
Guess who else saw what we saw? Quinn Ewers. Quinn
Yes.
Ewers saw Malik Murphy, and he's seen him all through the spring.
Absolutely. He sees him every day. You're absolutely right.
So keep it going, and that's going to be the thing. And the other thing I think we all you mentioned who's going to be the bell cow running back. I kind of think we knew going in we weren't going to find that out in this game because the bell cow is projected to be Jonathan Brooks, and he didn't play. And then Keelan Robinson didn't play. But what we did see, I think Savion Red's got a big bright future at the position.
He still has some learning to do at that position, coming from wide receiver. I didn't see a lot of natural running except for Blue, who was going against guys that by the time
Jaden Blue had the long run, and against the Orange team. Sure, I mean they've got because we said this. Jaden Blue is more in the Keelan Robinson type player, right? He's more of the edge player, explosive with the ball in his hands. But who's going to be the thumper? Who's going to be the guy between the tackles? Probably Jonathan Brooks when they get back to the fall.
Because we've seen him play.
And C.J. Baxter has to continue to develop. But again, he's one of those 13 kids who should be a senior in high school right now that was out there performing. We're in number 4. So we'll all look for that. But what you did see with the quarterback play is weapons. I mean, that's the number one thing that Sark talked about was we've got multiple guys who can create an explosive play. We have multiple guys who can stress a defense.
Yeah, Cook's going to make you happy. If he's healthy and he's getting stronger, he's just getting here and stuff. He's going to make you happy for the next couple of years because he looks like he's got that it factor as a wide receiver, catch and run.
But your top 4, I mean, we didn't see Isaiah Nayor, but we did see X-Man's the X-Man, right? He's wearing number 1 now. Right. He's going to be the go-to. But guess who's going to press him to be the focal point of the passing game? A.D. Mitchell. A.D. Mitchell on the other side said, wait a second, I've been in Georgia. I won national championships. I'm going to be a go-to guy. And then, that competition for balls, Jordan Whittington admitted after the game. I watched his interview on LHN with the guys, and he said, he played about 215 last year, but he wanted to get lighter. He's down to like 202, and he played like a more explosive player on Saturday. He understands that what this offense can be, and then again we didn't see Nayor, but we know Jatavion Sanders can be a weapon in the passing game. And Sark talked about it, the ability to stress a defense by creating one-on-one problems. Right, you can't double everybody. I hear Rod Babers talk about it all the time on the afternoon show, the math equation. You got 11 guys, right? But you can only double team, one guy. And you could, if you want to help out in the run game, well, now you're even limiting what you can do there.
Sure. So
this is, and again, it's shades of what Sark had at Alabama, which is just so many weapons that what do you do? And all you're doing as the quarterback is finding the best matchup. Who's a guy? I've got one of my great receivers on your third corner. Okay, well that's good. A.D. Mitchell's going to win that, and that's where we're going with the football in that spot. That becomes a problem, and that's why the quarterback play for Quinn Ewers has to be on point. Because if it is, I think this is an offense that scores a lot of points.
Well, and for me with Malik Murphy, I just thought he handled himself. He didn't seem like he was nervous, because when you have a guy who's played in front of you with Quinn Ewers, and then you've got Arch Manning who's come in there, and you've been sitting around for like a year, and everybody's wondering about you. You get on that football field, you'd think you'd be a little bit nervous. He didn't look nervous at all. He looked like he was in control of what he was doing the whole time. There wasn't a time that I thought, well, that's a nervous throw, or
no,
it didn't get there. No, they
very
all look
confident.
He looks like a very confident kid on the field and handling the huddle and everything.
Well, and if you were in the building, you know that Arch Manning got a huge ovation when he ran
Of
onto the
course.
field, which everyone knows that story, and the quarterbacks know that story. But I think you're right. Malik Murphy said, hey, don't forget about me. I'm still in this thing, and I think he certainly is, and showed a lot of promise in that spot. But that's what my takeaway was just the weapons. They've got a lot of guys that are going to beat one-on-one coverage. They're going to be a hard team to defend. And they were hurt last year when Isaiah Nayor got hurt. And, we talk about this with the Cowboys, right? When you need more than – you can't just have CeeDee Lamb threatening a defense. They can defend that. You need more weapons, not fewer. Well, now, when Isaiah Nayor got hurt last year and Jordan Whittington was playing maybe a little bit too heavy, well, it was really Xavier Worthy. So they forced the ball to their one top weapon, and then they got Jatavion Sanders involved. Well, now you got maybe 3 top receivers. If Whittington's going to play like that, on top of what X-Man and what A.D. Mitchell and what they're saying about Isaiah Nayor, if you go 4 wides, man, you're going to be a problem. You're going to be a real problem for defenses. But we'll see where this shakes out. That's an exciting place to be.
No, I think it's exciting for the football team.
Yeah, and
it's just tough on the defense. I I really like the two cornerbacks. I think people will have a hard time getting off of those long arm dudes.
Well, and that's the other thing Rod and I talked about on Saturday is when he was at Texas, the toughest, practices were tougher than games.
Oh, yeah.
Because as a corner, I had to defend Roy Williams, right? That could be the same thing for Terrence Brooks and Ryan Watts and Gavin
right.
Holmes. And, they're going against A.D. Mitchell every day in practice. They're going against, Xavier Worthy and Jordan Whittington, Isaiah Nayer. That makes steel sharpening steel is really, again, that's the next step for the program where you go from where they are to where they want to go. Is the practices are as intense or more intense than the actual football game. And are the Longhorns getting to that point talent-wise? That becomes the question. Showed a lot of it on Saturday. All right, we'll come back. We'll pick up these conversations, hear more from Sark. Your thoughts on the weekend, the good, the bad, and the ugly. What was on point for you? What was not so good? And what was just downright ugly? Every single Monday here on B&E.
It's Bucky and Erin.
What a weekend it was. Plenty of good, plenty of bad, plenty of ugly. We talked about the Longhorn baseball team and also told you that coming up in the 10 o'clock hour, Craig and Jeff will have David Pierce for a Monday visit to recap the weekend. It was a series win for Texas, but came with its challenges on the pitching mound with the walks and the hit batters. But in the end, Longhorns are sitting pretty right now, halfway through the Big 12 race, Buck, at 8-4. To win the two games they did, to get the Friday win, and then to hold on yesterday 7-6 was huge. They coughed up the Saturday game where they were up 4 runs in the ninth inning and lost it walk-off 10-9.
Winning is hard.
Well, in the Big 12 it is, because you consider this, that Texas is 8-4 through their 12 games. And then Kansas State's in second place at 9-6. TCU dropped out of conference play this weekend and played UNC Wilmington. They lost 2 out of 3. They lost the Friday and the Sunday game in Fort Worth. West Virginia went into Oklahoma State and swept took 2 out of 3 from Oklahoma State in Stillwater. They're sitting at 5-4 in conference play. Texas Tech is 6-6. Kansas, Baylor, and Oklahoma are bringing up the rear in the Big 12. And Texas will play Abilene Christian this week in a midweek game on Wednesday. And then they're going to play this weekend against Oklahoma. And this is another opportunity. Oklahoma's not a very good baseball club right now. They're 4-8 in Big 12 play, and they're 19-18, just over 500 overall. Of course, they lost a lot of good players, and they went to Omaha last year. Oklahoma did, but this team is not on its way to do anything. But Texas has to keep worrying about themselves and figure out their pitching challenges. But at the same time, they have a chance this weekend, Buck, and this week to put themselves into a kind of a driver's seat position in the Big 12. I mean, that's you're sitting 4 games above 500 if you can win this series with the Sooners.
I think it was K-State that I saw. K-State and Kansas played each other. They had like football numbers.
Yeah, Kansas State beat the daylights out of Kansas.
There was like a football score.
Yeah, this weekend they did. The in-state rivals. It was all it was all K-State this weekend there for sure. And so so the Longhorns in a good place. Got work to do, and as maybe we'll hear more from Coach Pierce today and we'll talk to Coach Pierce on Thursday, our weekly Thursday visit, on the progress of Tanner Witt, because obviously they need help in the bullpen. Zane Morehouse has been their closer, but he's kind of hit or miss as far as the closer goes, and he was missed on Saturday when they needed him in a big spot. So we'll see because if Tanner Witt could join that bullpen and bring that intensity and anything close to what he used to be at the mound, that would be, because what does Texas need right now?
It's that time right now.
What do they need right now? They need somebody that gets 3 to 6 outs in a big game.
That's right.
Over the weekend, and if Tanner Witt can just give you that, that would be a really nice piece for this team, because they're hitting the ball. Lucas Gordon's been great on Friday. And it's interesting. I love what the Blitzer said. The Blitzer said that Baylor challenged Texas by getting up on top of the plate, and that led to control problems, a lot of walks, a lot of hit batters in that series. And that's something don't think other teams aren't going to try to copy that after seeing it this weekend in Waco, knowing that this team may struggle to throw inside, especially when someone's on top of the plate. They're going to have to work on that. But, Lucas Gordon has been a rock. And until Saturday, the big kid Charlie Hurley has been really, really good too. He didn't pitch great on Saturday, but the Longhorns still should have won that baseball game. And then yesterday, they win 7-6. So we're
Speaking of the Morgantowners, I saw where they got a portal guy from Syracuse in basketball.
Yes.
Big, tall, 6'11", 6'10" kid.
From Syracuse.
Yeah.
Yeah. We do know that Rodney Terry, the Longhorns are hosting the big kid from Virginia. He's in town this week, Caden Shedrick, maybe even today. He's a 6'10" big from that Cavaliers program. Can also shoot it, but he's also going to visit Duke. There's a lot of people think Duke is the favorite here, but Rodney Terry and the Longhorns trying to make an impression. Horns have had a couple guys in over the weekend, and the portal madness in college basketball continues.
And football now.
Yeah, well, football, it begins. It's opened back up on Saturday, and I think that's kind of the timeline for Steve Sarkisian. You can sit back, have your exit interviews, find out what other players may end up in the portal on your team. And then at the same time, where can we add a piece or two? Where can we? And that's they've done a good job through the portal, adding some what they think are starting caliber players like A.D. Mitchell, the punter that they brought in from Stanford. They brought in Gavin Holmes from Wake Forest. They brought in Jalen Catalon from Arkansas, who didn't play on Saturday. But do they continue to attack that and say, what we're still not sure about the edges on our defensive line. We need to attack that and see what pops into the portal.
You know what? I didn't even notice the kicking game Saturday. Maybe that's a good thing. That means it wasn't bad and it wasn't great. I mean, if you don't notice it, it's okay.
I mean, every kickoff went into the end zone. Remember, they were doing it where the kick returner would have the ball in his hands.
Sure, because they wanted to get it going.
To work on returns, but pretty much everyone ended up halfway through the end zone, which is what you want to see. They made
it's a good thing.
A field goal. They made their extra points. And I think you feel pretty good about the punting because you bring in a 4-year player from Stanford who punted and kicked for the Cardinal. I think you feel pretty good about that spot with Jeff Banks on the special team side. And did you see, by the way, speaking of special, did you see Jeff Banks' wife and what she was wearing on Saturday?
Did she have her gear?
Ooh.
She have her Longhorn gear?
That was interesting.
Was it Longhorn gear?
It was all Longhorns.
There you go. Longhorns all the time.
Yeah.
Longhorns.
You see that, Ty?
Longhorns.
You didn't see that?
I did not.
Blow up on social media? Yeah, she, Danielle, she had an interesting outfit, let's just say that. Yeah. That took.
She still go by Pole Assassin? Is that still
no?
She doesn't do that, right?
No, she doesn't go.
She doesn't have a website or any of that kind of stuff. It's just it is what it is. It is what it was.
It is what it was.
Okay.
It was burnt orange.
That's what you're telling me. That's you're just giving me colors, huh?
Did you see?
Was it a statement?
Well, yeah, it was a statement.
Okay.
You know the end zone thing, like in the end zone where they have the Bevo.
Oh yeah.
Like the carved out Bevo
sure.
in the stands in the south end zone. That's kind of what she was wearing.
It looks like she cut that up day of.
Dude,
slapped it on her boobs.
Come on.
I mean, there's.
Ty,
it's clear what she's trying to do here.
It's a spring outfit. It's a spring.
Dude,
it was hot. Dude, it was hot. I mean, it was hot that day too.
It was really hot.
She looks like a mix between a tennis player and a stripper.
No.
A tennis player.
Well, she wore a
it was
tennis
hot.
skirt.
It was a tennis skirt. Oh, yeah, tennis
and
skirt.
A visor.
And a visor. There you go.
Yeah. Hey, congratulations to Texas men's and women's tennis. Both won the Big 12 championship over the weekend. Longhorns pushing towards that Directors Cup again for the athletic department success. Yeah, they're bringing it. Yeah, that because and by the way, tennis had a huge crowd. Good for it because at the game, they were promoting come to the tennis match because it was against third-ranked TCU. It's number 1 Texas against third-ranked TCU in the nation. And Texas beat them on Saturday night, but it was free admission, and they're giving away T-shirts. It looked like they got a great crowd over there to see the Texas men's tennis team. And the women both won the Big 12 over the weekend. And, yes, Danielle did look like a little bit like a tennis player.
Says her Instagram handle still says Pole Assassin.
Oh, she's leaning into that for sure.
Yeah, well, it's her handle.
I mean, would I look good in that outfit?
No.
I mean, is it something I look good in?
No.
I mean, if we're starting fashion now, come on now. It's spring. I've been buffing up.
It's Longhorn flavored. Let's just say that.
Okay.
It looks like she bejeweled it herself too.
What is bejeweled?
What the hell is that? That's another new one.
Yeah, it's just like when you see those shirts that have like all the little.
I don't know.
All little sequins and stuff on them.
Yeah. She had that made.
Well, both the Longhorns, like the Longhorn logos in her outfit, do not look like a Longhorn at all. On her hat and her chest.
There's added stuff to that Longhorn. It's not small like a Longhorn.
And yes, her Instagram handle is still the Pole Assassin. That is correct. So she's an aerialist in her previous job.
You've met her.
I have.
She must be quite the lady.
Very nice.
She must be kind of cool to talk to.
I actually met her at the 2 years ago at the Arkansas road trip. Yeah, she was at the tailgate when that game did not go well for the Longhorns. But yes, got to meet her. Very nice. And yeah, that's an outfit. That's what that is. But as far as the kicking game go, because her husband coaches the kicking team, the special teams, and they look good. I thought they were on point. And that's, again, like you watch this team play, and I think Sark said it afterwards. I mean, the depth of this team, because remember, you're splitting the team here. You know this, right? You're splitting the roster. You're not playing as a team. You're playing apart. So they were limited at some positions, and they had some key guys not playing in the game and then being very careful, like Isaiah Nair and Jalen Catalon and some of these guys. Well, here's Sark on, what he really took from the spring and from the spring game is the depth of the team better than they've had in a long, long time around here.
I think the biggest thing we found out about our team is I think we have really good depth on this team. You can go position by position, and I feel very comfortable if the starter isn't in, the backup doesn't look much different. And I don't know, we haven't been in that space here my first couple years. We've been in a space where maybe one position was that way, but at another position it was like, man, if so and so goes down, we're in real trouble. Today I kind of feel like if so-and-so goes down a position, which we never want them to, the next guy going in, we all feel very comfortable with. And I think that part for me was the thing that I got out of spring ball, is that we have depth on this team now to where we have a very solid 2 deep, and at some positions 3 deep, where we're very comfortable with the players that we have.
And that, should trickle into your special teams units too, Buck. When you have depth like that, you're more talented in those spots. And we know Sark and Jeff Banks are completely willing to put starters onto the key, special teams roles to make plays and to, change games on that side of the ball or in that unit.
I wonder if they'll use Cook on kickoff returns.
I'm trying to think who was doing the kickoff returning. I saw Jaden Blue.
Jaden Blue was back there.
Jaden
There's
Blue.
another one.
Who's number 2?
Jonte Cook would be number 2.
Yeah, I think he was back there.
Was he? Well, that's good. That's good.
The other thing I thought was interesting from Sark, and you probably know this having coached and been a part of spring games and the spring, is he said, we experiment a lot in the spring. Like we'll move guys from, especially in the offensive line or D line, kind of move them to different positions just to see how it goes. Because again, there's no game to be played on Saturday, so you can experiment. Maybe try out some guys returning kicks that you're probably not going to use, or just see how they react.
Or maybe
to it.
you do use them.
Yeah, well, you don't know until you try it, right? And challenge some guys. You're trying to build some depth, within, or some versatility with offensive linemen that can bounce from position to position. And that's what you use spring to do a lot foundationally, but at the same time you can do some of that stuff. You're not going to, once you get to fall camp, Buck, you're not doing that.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, Cook is another of those guys that'd be my punt returner.
Eventually, yeah. Well, right now, I think it's going to be Xavier Worthy again.
That's still scary. That scares me.
I like it.
Because has he put on like 2 pounds?
What about Keelan Robinson?
I don't know if he has those kind of hands, that kind of ability, to go up and fly up 15 yards and get.
Well, I think eventually Jonte can be your punt returner, but I think immediately it's going to be Xavier Worthy because they trust him to catch it.
Yeah, that's all you want to do.
That's the guy that you trust to catch it?
Have you seen him drop a punt?
No, but I've seen him drop some balls over the past 2 years.
I mean, we're talking about the punt return.
Punt return, just catch the punt, please.
Yeah.
You don't have to go anywhere with. You don't even have to run it for me. Just catch the punt.
Well, and catch the ball. I really thought, just my eyewitness of Xavier Worthy, he looked ready to go. I mean, that guy is in his 3rd year. I think that he was dynamic as a freshman.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, breaks his hand and is still playing, and of course dropping balls, and body language not good. But if you then realize, wait a second, he's playing with a broken hand, maybe that leads to some of the bad body language, that he's not the player he wants to be. Can we hear Sark talking about Xavier Worthy? He was asked, what has he seen in the spring? Does he feel like he's poised for a great junior season? Because again, Xavier Worthy could move on to the National Football League after this year if he has a big junior year, if he looks like he did as a freshman. Here's Sark on the X-Man, wearing number 1 now.
I think Xavier's in a great frame of mind. Like I said, when we came back after the break, he fought through an injury last season that a lot of people didn't know, and he didn't ever complain. He just continued to work, and I think that in his mind, he's thinking, now that I'm healthy, what could have been last year, and now what can this year become, coming in healthy and doing it the right way. So I think there's good rapport with he and Quinn. I think his connection with his teammates is great. And at the end, I don't think that he can worry about trying to win people over. I think he has to worry about being the best version of himself. And in the end, that's good enough. And I think people will love that aspect about him.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do about the past. You can't do anything about what happened last year. That's gone.
Well,
you're not going to get that back. You can only get better from what happened. If you're healthier, you should be better, because we know what we saw from him as a freshman.
Well, I mean, no one can stay in front of him. I mean, his quickness and his get off is incredible. His first step, his ability to create separation.
And these other guys will make him better. These other guys are going to help him out an awful lot.
Well, for sure. And we do, to have an A.D. Mitchell on the other side, A.D. Mitchell might be a better receiver than he is. I mean, at the end of the day, that's pretty damn good. And Xavier Worthy has been record-setting in his first 2 years at Texas. He has a chance to rewrite the record book at Texas at the receiver position if he stays 2 more years and plays in this offense. And then here comes A.D. Mitchell. I mean, he is a polished, smooth. Everybody, we know the touchdown catch with the one hand was the highlight. But man, there was a 3rd down play where he had to get 7 yards, and he got to the stick and a little in route, caught it in traffic. I mean,
Geared down, yeah.
He's a good player. And then again, I thought Jordan Whittington jumped off the screen watching it, because he looks quicker with the ball in his hands. I mean, that guy is he's on. You hear his interview.
He is Wayne McGarity to me.
Yeah. And then he was asked by the LHN guys, who do you pattern your game after? And he said Deebo Samuel. Now that's a big name, but can you use him as that kind of player? Because you've got Isaiah Nair, you've got A.D. Mitchell and Xavier Worthy with Jatavion Sanders. Can Jordan Whittington become that gadget player, that X factor player that you use a lot of different ways, even as a running back at times, Buck, like we see Deebo Samuel do?
Oh, yeah.
If you don't know who your bell cow running back is, remember at Cuero High School we saw Jordan
He did
Whittington
it
as a
all.
running back, so that's not foreign to him. And we also know Savion Red is being developed in a similar way, where he can do a lot of different things. So you wonder if you see Whittington in some packages. And again, they're not going to show any of that in the spring game.
No,
obviously, and that's why.
That's why it's tough to me for defensive lines. That's why I wasn't making too much of, oh, I wish the defense would have played better. Or I wanted to see somebody break loose. It's too hard when during the spring you're just told about your quarterbacks. We don't want this guy getting hit. We don't want that guy getting hit. Please don't hit the quarterback's arm, when he's getting ready to throw it into motion.
No, yeah.
Don't put your arm up and hit his arm. Don't bust his fingers. Get your helmet out of the way so that when his hand comes through that your helmet isn't right there. I mean, it sucks for defensive players in the spring because you're constantly being told, don't hit this guy. And you want to be a defensive player. Guy comes across the middle, you feel like you got a good shot at him, but he's your teammate. You can't put him in danger. You can't lose a guy in the spring because you want to make a big hit.
Yeah, no question. And you can see that. We'll wrap things up coming up. We'll get a quick timeout. We're going to hand it off to Light the Tower at the top of the hour, live and local all day, every day here on The Horn. Come right back.
It's Bucky and Erin.
All right, good stuff today. If you missed any part of our show, including the world's strongest man, Mark Henry called us in the 6 o'clock hour. Wanted to talk some Texas spring game and spring football. He was down there watching the Longhorns as we. Hope you enjoyed that. We'll certainly have more conversation about the Longhorns this week, but a lot to come as well. We've got, I'm on the short end of my bet with Ty with the Rangers and Astros. Rangers took 2 out of 3, including last night. Astros just not hitting the baseball right now. Rangers, the grand slam. Marcus Semien hits a grand slam on an 0-2 pitch from Hector Neris. Problematic. And for the Astros in that inning, Framber Valdez was great. He retired 18 of the first 20 he faced. And, he's their best ground ball pitcher. So they gave up a walk to start the inning and 2 double play balls that could have ended the inning or could have gotten them out of trouble. They didn't make the plays. Pena and Abreu both had errors. So the grand slam turned out to be just one earned run for Valdez. But the Rangers are playing good ball. That's for sure. And they're sitting atop the AL West right now.
Even without Corey Seager.
And the Astros miss Altuve badly. They don't really have a leadoff hitter right now. They're trying Mauricio Dubon. Bregman is really struggling. Pena has struggled out of the gate. It's just got
McCormick right now either.
Yeah, and the Astros are going to get Michael Brantley back shortly. He's already taken at bats in Florida. He gets back and Altuve gets back. They'll be a different team, but at the same time, they're scuffling now. The Astros get the Blue Jays tonight. Blue Jays gave the Tampa Rays their first 2 losses over the weekend, Buck.
Something the Sox couldn't do.
No. Tampa's pretty damn good. The Yankees, Blue Jays, and Rays already did double-digit wins in Major League Baseball in that division. And the Rays will be in Houston tonight. Rangers are in Kansas City, and there are 2 NBA games tonight. Game 2s, Nets are in Philadelphia to face your Sixers, Buck.
Another loss for the Nets.
Your man Joel Embiid. And how about the late game tonight? Warriors and Kings. How about the Kings in that first game? Those 2 Kentucky kids, De'Aaron Fox and Malik Monk, I should say, combined for 70 points. I know the Kings can score the basketball.
They're
fast. They are fun to watch.
I got
That's
the Warriors
a really young
tonight,
team too, isn't it?
Yeah, for the most. Yeah.
You got the Warriors. The Kings are 1-point underdog at home, and you're going with Golden State.
I had the Kings in Game 1. I think the Warriors get it right tonight.
Net
Too much
Sixers,
experience.
Do you have a pick?
Go Sixers by 10.
No, that's the 9. That's the line.
9.
There you go.
76ers a 10-point favorite tonight over the Brooklyn Nets. Enjoy the action tonight. We'll be talking about it tomorrow. Buck, have a good Monday. Get your tire fixed,
man. Get that tire fixed.
Why don't you try and do it before the AAA guys come help you?
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pull that out of the garage, put it in the driveway, and get it done.
Just leave it in the garage. You don't want to be driving on a flat
I'll
tire.
just back it out of the garage. It's inside of the garage.
You can't get to it from in there?
No, I mean, I'm not going to get into it. My wife does not. We don't let stuff on the floor there.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
You're so funny. Hey, have a wonderful Monday. Light the tower. Next, we'll have David Pierce in the first hour.